Chapter 253. Lin Rei thought that they didn't want to follow him when he saw that they didn't have any expression or action after he finished speaking. Lin Rei was very disappointed, but after all, this was their choice. Lin Rei couldn't influence them. Therefore, the only thing he could do was to improve their cultivation. However, Lin Rei didn't know that the amount of information he said was too much. Therefore, for the two of them who lived in the mortal world, this was an earth-shattering event. They had to take their time to sort out the information. Lin Rei turned around with a disappointed expression and was about to leave when suddenly, a scream came from behind him. Instantly, Lin Rei, who was caught off guard, was startled. Ah, really? He turned around. At this time, the expressions of the two of them were completely different from before. Their eyes were empty and without any spirit. Right now, the eyes of the two were shining, and the look of shock and excitement on their faces was enough to drown Lin Li out. At this time, Lin Rei realized that they were shocked by the information he said. Second brother, was what you said just now true? Did you really use only 3 years to cultivate to this level? Also, did you just say that you want to go to a higher cultivation world than us? That's right. Furthermore, can we also head to a higher plane? At this time, the two of them were incoherent and scrambling to ask questions. For a moment, Lin Rei smiled foolishly and didn't know whose question he should answer first. Yes, I do want to take you and the two of you away from here. However, as for whether you agree or not, it's up to you. I just want to say that I will only take the two of you. As for your parents, I won't take them. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't want them to misunderstand, so he said this in advance. This way, they could avoid their previous relationship. Sure enough, after Lin Rei finished speaking, the two of them who were originally excited instantly fell silent. Lin Rei knew that they had lived with their parents for a long time. If he wanted them to suddenly leave now, they wouldn't be willing. I know it's difficult for you, but you have to know that you can come back and pick them up yourself. With just one sentence, they immediately returned to their previous state of excitement. We can come back and pick them up ourselves, but how do we come back? We don't know about this. Haha. Lin Li smiled and said to them, once you're strong enough, you can even go to other places by yourself, let alone here. So, if you're willing, once you're strong enough, you can come back here to pick up your parents and go to a higher plane to recuperate. Also, in a few hundred years, I'll come back again. At that time, you can also choose to come back with me, or even come back early on your own. That's fine too. After Lin Rei finished speaking, they fell silent. After a long time, when they raised their heads again, the hesitation in their eyes had disappeared. At this moment, there was nothing but determination in their eyes. Okay, second brother, I will go with you. I want to become strong. When the time comes, I will bring my parents over and let them live forever. To Lin Rei's surprise, the first to speak was not Su Bo, but Murongyu, who had been silent all this time, spoke. I promise you that I will help you break through to a higher realm as soon as possible, so that you can meet your family as soon as possible. However, before that, I have to tell you that the cultivation world is not like here. Over there, killing and robbing are as common as eating a meal. There are no police officers who kill people, only people with strength. The weak are prey to the strong, and strength is respected. As long as you have strength, they will respect you. But if you don't have strength, even if they kill you, you won't have more people to help you. Just like an ant, no one will know even if you die. At this moment, seeing that they had agreed, Lin Rei told them about the dangers of the cultivation world. He didn't want to lie to them. I know, second brother. Since I have chosen to go, I have already prepared to die. So, you don't need to say any more. I, Murongyu, will definitely go to the cultivation world. Moreover, not only will I go, I will also create a career and a reputation. I will let my descendants become my shadow and live for generations. After a series of ambitious words came out of Morongyu's mouth, Lin Rei no longer felt that his fourth brother was the weak person who only knew how to come up with plans. Okay, since it's like this, let's go. After I find my mother, I will go to another cultivation planet. You guys should be prepared at any time, and you are only allowed to tell your parents about this matter. As for the others, it's best if they don't know about it, and this matter is only limited to your parents. As for the others, if one knows, I will kill one, if two know, I will kill two, and I will not care if they're your clansmen or not, do you understand? At this moment, Lin Rei was no longer the gentle and refined person from before. The current Lin Rei was filled with killing intent. This killing intent rushed straight at them, causing them to feel as if they were about to suffocate. We understand. Don't worry, I will only tell our parents about this matter. The others won't not know about it. Similarly, I won't let our parents tell anyone else. After hearing Lin Rei's words, the two of them hurriedly stretched out their left hands and swore to the heavens and earth. Alright, don't be so serious. It's fine as long as you know. Seeing their appearance, Lin Rei was afraid that his appearance just now would scare them, so he quickly revealed a smile and said to them, "Ugh." Immediately, seeing Lin Rei's expression, the two of them were speechless for a moment. Alright, let's go. It's time for me to pay the Ouyang family a visit. After saying that, Lin Rei directly released his spiritual energy and enveloped the two of them. Then, he flew in the direction of Yanjing. His speed was so fast that he disappeared into the Sahara Desert in an instant. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, not long after Lin Rei left, the sound of something breaking through the air was heard. In the blink of an eye, a group of people appeared at the place where Lin Rei was transcending his tribulation. Among this group of people, there were people from all countries, including Wuxia, Country R, and so on. People from many countries were standing at the place where Lin Rei was transcending his tribulation, staring blankly at the huge pit in front of them. At this moment, other than fear in their hearts, there were no words that could express it. Hiss! A cold breath came from everyone's mouth. Their expressions were very funny, and everyone's expression was very ugly. What's going on? Who is this person? Why is he transcending his tribulation here? And judging from the surrounding aftermath, this lightning tribulation is very powerful. It's so powerful that every lightning tribulation can destroy one of us. Yeah. Who is this person? Who is this person? Who has such great power to cause such a lightning tribulation to appear during a tribulation? The group of people, after seeing the giant crater in which Linley had undergone his tribulation and the surrounding shockwaves, began to discuss it amongst themselves. Everyone had their own ulterior motives, and they used words to test each other. At this time, the people from Huaxia were at the side, discussing with a serious expression, "I hope that the person transcending his tribulation is not from another country, but someone from Huaxia. Otherwise, it's worrying." At this time, they looked at each other with fear in their eyes. After confirming with their eyes, they did not stay any longer and flew directly to the capital of Huaxia. After the people from Huaxia left, slowly, the people from other countries also left. Not long after, this bustling place became very quiet at this moment. Apart from the huge pit created by Lin Rei's tribulation, the desert returned to its usual tranquility. Chapter 254. After the tribulation, Lin Rei, who rushed back to Beijing without stopping, didn't know that after his group left, such a thing that was completely out of his imagination would happen. But even if he knew, Lin Rei wouldn't have any expression, because these people had nothing to do with him. Lin Rei, on the other hand, brought Su Bo and Murongyu. Under the constant rush, they still stepped on the soil of Beijing. Alright, we've already returned to Beijing. You guys should go back too. I'm sure your families must be anxious to let me take you away for so long. When there's time, I'll personally come and apologize. At this moment, the simultaneous breakthrough in both his physical body and cultivation base gave Linley a sense of exhilaration. Looking at the looks on his brothers' faces, Linley couldn't help but tease them. A warm smile spread across his face. If someone who had a deep grudge with Lin Rei, or someone who had already died, saw Lin Rei's smile, they would definitely think that their eyes had an illusion. Because, in their knowledge, other than a disdainful smile, they had never seen Lin Rei reveal such a sincere and relaxed smile. Don't be so polite. In any case, we're still good brothers. Even if your cultivation is strong now, this fact can't be changed. So, don't say such things in the future. At this moment, when Muromu and Su Bo heard Lin Rei's words, for a moment, their faces were filled with helpless expressions. They looked at Lin Rei and spoke unhurriedly. Similarly, when they spoke, the sincerity on their faces, as if they were treating him as a brother, entered their eyes. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei smiled. That's right, second brother, don't be so polite. We're brothers for a moment, and we'll be brothers for life. This matter can't be changed. As for these words, don't say them in the future. Besides, if my parents knew that I had a brother like you, they would definitely be happy for me. Hearing Su Bo and Muromu's words, Lin Rei didn't say anything else. At this moment, he was very anxious in his heart. He had already been out for so long, and he hadn't told Jinling. Therefore, Lin Rei was in a hurry to go back and explain to Jinling. All right, since that's the case, I won't say any more. However, when you go back, you must take a look at your family and see if my mother is there. If she isn't, give me a call. If she isn't, let me go to another family. Before he left, Lin Rei didn't forget to tell them about his mother. Got it. When we go later, we'll go take a look at the family situation and see if the family has captured Andy. If they do, second brother, don't worry, I won't let them off. After the two of them swore to Lin Rei, they turned around and left. As for Lin Rei, he looked at their backs until they disappeared. Only then did he fly towards his own villa in the Heavenly Bay Garden. Along the way, Lin Rei had been using a small invisibility spell to support himself. Therefore, even if Lin Rei appeared in the crowd, no one would be able to see Lin Rei. At this moment, in one of the villas in Yanjing Tianwan Garden, a woman was anxiously pacing back and forth at the door. She looked like she had a lot on her mind. Her eyebrows were knitted together, and her face was pale. Anyone who saw her could not help but have the urge to go forward and come for her. Mother, don't worry. Father is so strong. Only he can bully others. Others are like ants in his eyes. Moreover, you've been here for so long. Although you don't need to eat now, it's better to eat less. Suddenly, a young boy with a tender voice and a jade-like face walked out of the villa. When he saw his mother waiting for his father, who had been gone for a long time, he couldn't help but feel pain in his heart. His eyes couldn't help but moisten. Sigh. It's okay. I'm just worried. Before you were born, your father went hunting in the mountains, and I was responsible for waiting for your father at home. Every time your father went out, he was fine, but every time he came back, his body would always be a little sore. After so many years, it can't be changed anymore. The woman who was waiting in the courtyard was Lin Rei's wife, Jinling, and the child who spoke was Lin Rei's son, Jinen. After Lin Rei left and didn't come back that night, Jinling unconsciously came to the door and waited for Lin Rei's return. This had become Jinling's habit. It had been deeply engraved in Jinling's bone marrow, and it had become one with her body. But father hasn't come back yet. Maybe father is busy and forgot. Are you going to stand here until he comes back? At this moment, Jin-en was obviously anxious when he saw Jinling's appearance. When he spoke, he no longer used a calm tone. Instead, he directly shouted. His smiling face was red, and he looked very cute. At this moment, before they spoke, Lin Rei had already arrived at the periphery of the villa. However, when Lin Rei saw his own aura and how tired he was from waiting for him, his heart ached. Just as he was about to come forward to show his concern, he heard his son's words. For a moment, Lin Rei's arrogant head lowered at this moment, and his eyes were wet. With a face full of guilt, he looked at Jinling, who was not far away, with a haggard face and waiting for his return. The words that Lin Li wanted to say were choked up at this moment, and he could not say it even if he wanted to. Sigh. It seems that I still haven't taken good care of you. You were originally an innocent and brilliant little girl. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be like this. Lin Rei looked at them and felt deeply guilty, but there was nothing he could do. According to the current situation, He was now on the rise in his career. It was inevitable that he would not be able to take good care of himself. After removing the invisibility spell on his body, Lin Rei's true body appeared in front of everyone. Step by step, he slowly walked towards the door. In the past, he didn't need to walk. In an instant, Lin Rei would be able to reach it. But now, Lin Rei seemed to have a path to heaven, and the more he walked, the longer he seemed to be walking. Gotcha. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Rei finally arrived at the door. He reached out and pushed the heavy door. Walking with legs that seemed to be filled with lead, he walked towards a place where his wife and son were. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Linley walked faster and faster. After he was in the villa, Linley rushed in front of Jean Ling and hugged her in his arms. Jean Ling's heart is beating faster and faster. I'm sorry. I've made you suffer with me all these years. At this moment, the tears in Lin Rei's eyes couldn't stop flowing down. He looked at Jean Ling in his arms with guilt in his eyes and said, "As the saying goes, a man doesn't cry easily. It's just that he hasn't been hurt." At this moment, Lin Rei had become a tearful man. His tears couldn't stop flowing at all. The guilt in his heart was getting deeper and deeper. He didn't know what to do now, but he knew that in the coming days, he had to protect her well and not let her suffer the slightest bit of harm. Hubby you. The sudden situation scared Jean Ling and her son, who were talking. At the same time, they were also shocked by Lin Rei. They didn't know why Lin Rei would say such a thing. Moreover, Lin Rei was crying. This was the first time they had seen Lin Rei cry. The atmosphere was brought up by Linley, and the air was filled with a heavy and sorrowful aura. This caused Jean Ling and Jean En to unknowingly cry with Linley as well. And the 100 secret department disciples who had been hiding in the surroundings all cried when they saw their leader. This was the most unbelievable thing for them. They had seen Lin Rei when he was injured, Lin Rei when he was angry, and even Lin Rei when he was slaughtering. However, this was the first time they had seen him cry. They just watched Lin Rei's family cry here. It lasted for a few minutes. After more than 10 minutes, they finally stopped. Okay, let's go in and talk. Lin Rei, who had stopped crying, carried Jean Ling in his arms and then walked into the room with Jean En. Looking at the scene from behind, it looked very harmonious, and a very warm feeling arose spontaneously. In the hall of the villa, after Lin Rei placed Jean Ling on the sofa, he sat down beside her. However, his hand never left Jean Ling's body. His left hand was holding Jean Ling's waist, unwilling to let go. Ling, this time, I went out suddenly. I didn't have time to tell you, and I didn't tell you when I would come back. There will be a lot of things like this in the future. So, don't stand at the door and wait foolishly in the future, understand? Lin Rei, who had just sat down, did not stop at all. He directly explained to Jean Ling beside him. He looked very excited, as if he was afraid that she would misunderstand if he did not explain. I know that you feel sorry for me, but have you ever thought about what else I can do for you at home other than this? Besides, I'm already used to it. In the past 6 or 7 years, I've already gotten used to waiting for you. This sentence pierced Lin Rei's heart. This sentence was like a needle, piercing Lin Rei's heart. His heart was in pain, very much in pain. Sigh. Don't worry. In the future, I'll try my best to come back earlier. I won't let you wait too long. At this moment, Lin Rei did not dare to guarantee that something like this would happen in the future, but Lin Rei could guarantee that he would be able to return earlier in the future. I got it. Hearing Lin Rei's guarantee, Jean Ling's face revealed a happy smile. She gently tilted her head to the side and happily leaned on Lin Rei's shoulder. All right, you can do it too. Looking at his son who had been standing beside him, Lin Rei quickly gestured for him to sit down. Then, he told them about what happened during this period of time. Originally, I just wanted to go to Subo and Morongyu to explain it clearly. But I didn't expect that after trying my best in the end, this talk lasted for half an hour. In this half an hour, Lin Rei told them everything that had happened. Of course, Lin Rei did not say anything about the tribulation. He probably had to use simple words to dodge it. However, Lin Rei knew that even if he did not say anything, Jin Ling, as a cultivator, should have already realized the danger. At this moment, Jin En, who was sitting on the sofa opposite him, looked at him with admiration in his eyes. He was filled with admiration in his heart. Haha, you don't have to admire me because my current level of cultivation is only at the threshold of cultivation. Son, you must remember, don't use my current level of cultivation as your benchmark. You still have a long way to go. You must remember, you are my son, and your future achievements will be limitless. Moreover, you are the young lord of a sect. Therefore, in the future, you must work hard and work hard. Others work twice as hard, but you must work 10 times as hard as others. Because only then can you bear the responsibility that you have to bear in the future. After speaking, Jin En, who was sitting on the sofa, couldn't help but smile as Linley spoke. His eyes were filled with determination as he looked at Linley, as if to say, I'm ready. As for his wife, Jin Ling, who was next to him, she became even more serious. She knew that at this moment, her husband had already placed all his hopes on his son. He hoped that he could become a dragon. She was very happy about this and felt happy at the same time. All right, let's end this matter here. When your grandmother's matters are over, we'll leave this place. I'll take you to a place of killing. I'll leave you there. Whether you're dead or alive, I don't care, and I won't interfere. In the end, whether you can take on the identity of the young master of the sect or not depends on you. Yes, I understand. After standing and listening to his father's words, Jin En's heart became excited. What he had just said had deeply moved him. Moreover, he also knew that only when he was strong would he be truly strong. Moreover, under the influence of his father, he had long been prepared to take on the responsibility. All right, look at you, father and son. What time is it? Aren't you hungry? And you're saying these words as soon as you come back. At this moment, Jin Ling, who had been sitting next to him, teased Lin Rei with a smile on her face. With that, Jin Ling stood up and went into the kitchen. She began to cook with a clatter. As time went on, Linley continued to explain to Jin and some of the things that were worth learning. The smell of the rice aroma stirred up the worms in their stomachs. Come and eat quickly. Otherwise, it won't taste good when it gets cold. Turning his head, he stared at the dazzling array of dishes on the table. Linley couldn't help but take a big stride forward and rush to the table. With a thought, a jug of flowery carving wine appeared on the table. After that, Jin En and Jin Ling also sat on the dining table and lowered their heads to eat after 3 times. It didn't take long for the jar of wine to be wiped out by Lin Rei. Just when Lin Rei wanted to continue, Jin Ling, who was eating silently, had a cold expression and said to Lin Rei with dissatisfaction, All right, isn't drinking a jar of wine enough? Let me tell you, if you dare to drink again today, don't sleep in my room. Jin Ling's words had an immediate effect. Lin Rei, who was about to make a move, immediately quieted down after hearing his wife's words. Chapter 255. The family of 3 chatted and laughed during the meal. The meal was quickly finished. As soon as Lin Rei finished eating, he put down his chopsticks and walked back to his room with his tired body. Jin Ling and Jin En, who were sitting at the dining table, looked at Lin Rei's tired back. Their hearts skipped a beat, and their breathing became rapid. Jin Ling knew that her husband was tired, so she didn't stop Lin Rei. Instead, she let him go. Jin En, on the other hand, went back to his room after the meal under Jin En's urging. After cleaning up the bowls and chopsticks, she went back to her room. She saw her husband lying on the bed, snoring and looking exhausted. Sigh. Hubby, if that damned Cohen fish hadn't appeared back then, maybe you wouldn't have ended up like this. Maybe our family of 3 would still be in the deepest part of the sea of innocence, or maybe we'd still be living a carefree life. At that moment, Jin Ling's face was full of regret and heartache. She sat beside Lin Rei and reached out a hand to touch Lin Rei's face. Her eyes were full of heartache and nostalgia. But I know that this kind of life might not be possible for the current you. I know that you want to cultivate to the peak of Tao, or even surpass Tao. So, hubby, don't worry about it, and do what you want to do. I won't hold you back. I will make myself stronger. That way, I will be able to stay by your side and help you. As she said that, the corners of Jean Ling's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a sweet smile. Her body slowly leaned towards Lin Rei and lay on Lin Rei's body. She closed her eyes and fell asleep. Some families were happy, while others were sad. The news of Lin Rei's return was received by the other families the moment Su Bo and Morongyu returned to the Dao family. They all gathered at the Su family's residence. Right now, Yanjing was in chaos. Ordinary people were still living their lives as ordinary people. Cultivators, on the other hand, were not in the mood to sleep or cultivate because they were about to face the prelude of death. Lights flickered on the bustling streets. In this extravagant city, it was quiet at this moment. It was so quiet that it made people feel afraid. At this moment, in the deepest part of the Su family's villa, the lights were brightly lit and chaotic sounds came from the villa. At this moment, Su Bo and Morongyu, who had just returned, were standing in front of the 5 great ancestors and some of the current patriarchs of the families, not daring to raise their heads. Are you saying that your brother, Lin Rei, brought you to the Sahara Desert to undergo tribulation? And it's a double tribulation? At this moment, Long Feng, who was sitting on the sofa, couldn't hold back when he heard that Su Bo and Morongyu had brought back the news of Lin Rei. He jumped up in excitement, his eyes filled with disbelief as he asked Morongyu and Morongyu. Long Feng's appearance was very comical. At this moment, it was impossible to tell that he was a cultivator over 1,000 years old. Instead, he looked like a young man in his 20s or 30s. As for Su Chu and the others, they were even more shocked than Long Feng. This was because they really didn't want to believe that a person could undergo 2 lightning tribulations. This was because, in their knowledge, this had never happened before. However, the facts proved that it was hard for them not to believe. They really didn't want to believe that this was true. However, since it came from the mouth of their own descendants, Long Feng and the other old ancestors had no choice but to believe the accuracy of this matter. Yes, old ancestors, you don't have to doubt it because when we saw this situation, the 2 of us also found it hard to believe. However, this is the truth. After second brother finished the first lightning tribulation, we all thought that it was over. However, the moment the first lightning tribulation ended, a blood-like thundercloud suddenly appeared. Moreover, at that time, the hundreds of Mahayana realm experts around us were suppressed by the pressure of the second lightning tribulation. The 2 of us were directly suppressed to the ground. At this moment, when Mu Rongming spoke, the scene at that time couldn't help but appear in his mind. For a moment, his body trembled uncontrollably. His voice trembled as he spoke, as if he was afraid of recalling this memory.
Yes, he is right.
If you were there at that time, you would definitely believe what we said. TSK, I didn't expect my brother to be so awesome. Moreover, second brother is even the leader of a sect. If in the future... Suddenly, when Su Bo was so pleased with himself that he spat out his mouth, Morongyu, who was at the side, hurriedly tugged at Su Bo. For a moment, Su Bo, who seemed to have realized something, stopped abruptly halfway through his words. When Su Bo came back to his senses, the cold sweat on his forehead inadvertently overflowed from his head. His eyes were filled with fear as he looked around. He didn't want those old fellows to see him and hoped that they would realize something that they shouldn't know. However, at this moment, Su Bo might really be overthinking. When those old guys knew that Lin Rei was so strong, they were already scared out of their wits. Therefore, those old guys didn't see his words and actions at all. Fortunately, they didn't know and didn't see. Otherwise, if they knew and left this place to cultivate on another planet, second brother would definitely do as he said. For a moment, Su Bo couldn't help but pat his forehead in fear. His relaxed nerves tensed up at this moment.
Sigh.
It's over. My long family is finished this time? At this moment, when everyone was sighing at Lin Rei's strength, Long Feng, who was next to him, said to the other old guys with a bitter smile. His eyes were filled with fear. In an instant, Long Feng's actions attracted the attention of those old guys. What's going on? Everyone was puzzled. They didn't understand what Long Feng meant by this sentence. Together, what did he mean by "I'm finished"? My Long family is finished. Sigh. You guys don't know. After Brother Yu are left, I returned home and began to investigate Ouyang Jing's news. In the end, what gave me a headache was that Ouyang Jing was really in my Long family, and at this point, Long Feng's words seemed to be choked. His expression was extremely ugly, and he didn't continue speaking.
What?
Instantly, everyone present was stunned when they heard such a huge piece of news. No matter how they thought about it, they would never have thought that the person Linley was looking for was actually in the Long family. The relationship between the two seemed to be completely unrelated. At this moment, their hearts were filled with doubts. Everyone's gaze shifted to Long Feng, waiting for him to continue the topic. Sigh. When I found Ouyang Jing, I found that his body was covered in wounds. What surprised me the most was that Ouyang Jing was actually the lover of the Long family's current family head. I heard that the two of them even had 3 children.
Boom.
At this moment, even more heavy news came, causing their minds to go blank. Tell me, what should we do now? At this moment, Long Feng was filled with fear as he asked Su Chu and the other old guys. Suddenly, there was a rare silence in the villa. After everyone heard Long Feng's words, they all fell silent. After a long, long time, Su Chu, who had been silent for a long time, said, "Brother Long, we really can't help with this matter. You know that even before Lin Rui underwent his tribulation, the 5 of us were already no match for him. Now that he has broken through, what more?" That's right. Brother Long, if we were to intervene, not only would we not be able to help you, but we would also have to destroy the family that has been passed down for thousands of years. At this moment, the other 4 old ancestors looked at Long Feng with troubled expressions. Actually, this was understandable. After all, no one would want to use their family as a bargaining chip. Even if they knew that they were going to die, they would still rush forward. Unless that person was sick, that person would be a fool.
Sigh.
It looks like the Long family's luck is at its end. When Long Feng had asked for their help, there was still a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Now his face was ashen, and there was only despair in his eyes. This, Brother Long, don't blame us. It's not that we don't want to help you. You know that if we were alone, we would definitely help you. However, we have a family behind us that depends on us. So we're sorry. The apology sounded like a joke to Long Feng's ears. However, he could not bring himself to hate them for not helping him. All right, I understand. Since that's the case, I'll take my leave first. I'll go back and make preparations so that the younger generation can leave as soon as possible. After making his decision, Long Feng bade farewell to Su Chu and the rest. He turned around and walked out of the door. He instantly released his cultivation and soared into the sky, flying towards the Long family. When Su Chu and the rest saw Long Feng leave, they went to the door and looked up at Long Feng's back. They only regained their senses after he had disappeared.
Sigh.
Everyone, no matter what, we've all been good friends for thousands of years. It wouldn't be right if we didn't help. Let's gather at the Long family tomorrow and help as much as we can. Su Chu looked at the place where Long Feng had disappeared and did not regain his senses for a long time. This was because he felt terrible. After all, Long Feng had just saved his life. Therefore, after making his decision, he turned around and spoke to the people behind him. Since that's the case, let's do it. We should go back and make preparations. We'll gather at the Long family tomorrow. Even if we can't organize it, we can at least save a few lives. Slowly, everyone made their decision and left the Su family's villa one after another. At that moment, the Su family's villa had finally returned to its usual tranquility. Meanwhile, the entire Yanjing had also fallen silent because of the matter between the major families. Nighttime always passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, it turned from night to day. A day of life had begun. The morning air was often the best. Moreover, The air was even better in a villa area like Tianwan Garden, which was surrounded by mountains and rivers. In the park, people started their morning exercises one after another. Meanwhile, in the courtyard of the Lin family villa in Tianwan Garden, Jin En was topless and practicing a set of punching techniques to train his body. He looked very determined. Every punch carried with it a faint and almost inaudible wind. If one's cultivation was not particularly strong and his perception was not particularly good, it would be impossible to notice this phenomenon. Moreover, every punch of Jin En's punching technique carried with it a murderous aura. It felt as if his entire person had merged with the surrounding air. Haha, like father, like son. I didn't expect that the young Sect Master's Dragon Tiger Fist has already reached the realm of becoming one with the fist. If he cultivates further, it's very likely that he'll reach the Qing realm. At that moment, Black Shadow, who had been standing guard around the Lin family, had already returned. He couldn't help but praise Jin En when he saw him practicing his punching technique.
Haha, that's right.
Don't you know whose son the young Sect Master is? Just the mention of his name is enough to make Tianxian tremble. He's Lin Rei's son. If Lin Rei was here, he would definitely be grinning from ear to ear after hearing Black Shadow's words. Kid, when did your bootlicking skills become so good? At this moment, the black figure who had been admiring Jin En turned his head with a strange expression after hearing his subordinate's words and teased him. That leader. I forgot that I didn't see anyone patrolling over there. I'll go take a look again. Hearing his leader's words, the bootlicking dark group member said something to the Black Shadow and quickly fled the place. Haha, you kid. Seeing that the person had already disappeared, Black Shadow closed his eyes again and fell into a deep sleep. For a leader like him, there was basically nothing for him to do with over 100 members of the Black Shadow protecting the Lin family villa. Therefore, the only thing he had to do now was sleep, drink, eat, sleep, and cultivate. This cycle of life was endless. Ha ha. Jin En, who was practicing his Dragon Tiger Fist, kept repeating it. After finishing one round, he would do it again. This continued for 2 hours. At this moment, Jin En was already lying on the ground in exhaustion. His entire body seemed to have collapsed from exerting too much strength. He lay on the ground motionlessly with his eyes closed. Not only was he tired, but he was also asleep. In a room on the second floor of the villa, Lin Rei, who had been sleeping since last night, opened his eyes groggily. He reached out and picked up the phone on the table beside him. After looking at the time, he came back to his senses and prepared to get up. However, at that moment, he suddenly felt as if he was being pressed down by someone. In the end, when he looked up, he saw that Jin Ling was lying on top of him, sleeping soundly. Haha, this silly girl. What should I say to you? Looking at his wife, Lin Rei was full of helplessness and didn't know what to say.
Sigh.
With a sigh, Lin Rei slowly pulled his body out. Then, with light movements, he used a strength that Jin Ling couldn't feel. He hugged Jin Ling and placed her on the bed. Then, he covered her with a blanket and tiptoed out. Chapter 256. Lin Rei walked out of his room. He had already made up his mind. Today, he would go to the 5 great families to look for his mother. Even if he had to turn the entire Yanjing upside down, he would find her. He didn't want to drag this out any longer. After getting dressed, he went downstairs and prepared to leave after breakfast. However, at that moment, the sound of boxing came from outside. Hee. Hearing this sound, Linley furrowed his brows. He put down the cooking utensils in his hands and walked towards the direction of the sound of the boxing. Just as he walked out of the villa, he saw a small figure under the sun. He was sweating profusely as he practiced the Dragon Tiger Fist. At that moment, the young man's figure was steady and firm. This kid. Lin Rei knew that Jin En had stopped what he said yesterday and was working hard. He didn't want to disappoint him. More importantly, he carried the title of the young sect master of the 9 Heavens Xuanzong sect on his shoulders. This was all his motivation and at the same time pressure. Seeing that he was working so hard, Lin Rei didn't call him. Instead, he hurried to the kitchen and started cooking. Ping, ping, pang, pang, sounds came from the kitchen. The people outside heard it, but they didn't find it strange. After all, this wasn't the first time Lin Rei cooked. Breakfast should be light dishes, but at this moment, there was only meat on the table. Apart from 2 plates of fried eggs and 2 cups of milk, there was nothing else. Half an hour later, the sound of cooking in the kitchen finally disappeared. At the same time, Lin Rei walked out with a big plate of meat with a smile on his face. Hee, this should be enough to replenish his energy down there. At the same time, it should help him increase his strength. TSK, but it doesn't feel like a monster's meat. If it was a monster, then it would be a treasure. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at the meat on the table and couldn't help but sigh regretfully. However, if others heard this, they would definitely think that he was crazy. Of course, this was only for ordinary people. When the meal was ready, Lin Rei took a towel and strolled to the place where Jin-en was practicing. Right now, Jin-en was already standing, completely exhausted. His fists were waving weakly in the air, and his face was filled with exhaustion. Seeing this, Lin Li's heart ached as he walked over and said, "Don't worry. Son, here, wipe it, then stop practicing. This thing has to be done in moderation. You can't eat everything in one go and become a fatty. Take it slow, 1 step at a time. This way, the Tao mechanism and foundation will be stable." Jin-en, who was too engrossed in his practice, didn't notice that his father had been watching for a long time. It was only when Lin Rei spoke that he noticed.
Oh.
Looking at the towel that was handed to him, Jin-en did not refuse. He took it and began to wipe the sweat off his body. "Let's go. Time to eat." After speaking to Jin-en, Lin Rei went ahead and sat down at the dining table in the villa. Jin-en followed Lin Rei to the dining table. However, the next scene stunned Jin-en, because at this moment, the dining table was filled with meat. There was beef, pork, and a dazzling array of meat. When Jin-en saw this, his throat involuntarily squirmed. Most importantly, this meat was all the same as the large pieces of meat he had eaten in the mysterious Sky Continent. All of them were palm-sized pieces of meat placed on the table. Hee, kid, how can you be like this just because you see meat? Hurry up and wash up, then come down and eat. After speaking, Lin Rei lowered his head and started to eat. Jin-en, on the other hand, quickly went into the bathroom. After a while, Jin-en walked out with wet hair and an impatient look on his face. Lin Rei, who was sitting at the dining table, smiled but did not say anything. Jin-en did not care about anything. After all, it was his father. Without any reservations, he grabbed a piece of meat and started to tear it into his mouth. Piece by piece, the meat on the table slowly disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. What was even more strange was that with every piece he ate, the pain caused by breaking through his limits twice was disappearing bit by bit. Seeing how miraculous the meat on the table was, Jin-en let go of his hand and swept it up like a whirlwind. Actually, it wasn't the meat that was miraculous. Rather, when Lin Li was cooking, he had taken a few of Tianji's pills, crushed them, and scattered them on the meat. The meal was quickly finished. Lin Li had finished eating very early, and then he just stared at his son, who was eating happily, with a blissful smile on his face. "After we finish eating, I'm going to look for your grandmother. If you want to come, then follow me. If you don't want to, then stay at home and accompany your mother." Grandmother? Lin Rei's words piqued Jin-en's curiosity. The term grandmother was very unfamiliar, yet also very familiar. Therefore, when he heard Lin Rei's words, Jin-en stopped what he was doing. "Yes, my mother. So, what is your decision?" Lin Rei did not make a decision. Instead, he left the decision to Jin-en. I will go. Wait for me. I will change my clothes and follow you." After saying that, Jin-en put down the meat in his hand and hurriedly ran upstairs. Not long after, an aristocratic young master in a suit walked down the stairs, looking very handsome. Hee, kid. Looking at such a handsome son, Lin Li felt very proud. After all, his son was handsome, so he felt very proud too. It was something that made him feel very proud. All right, let's go. He took the initiative to grab Jinan's hand and led him out of the door. This time, he had mobilized all his men. When they reached the door, he lifted his head and said to the air, "Black Shadow, select 50 people and secretly torture me. When the time comes, if anyone dares to resist, there is no need to listen to my orders.
Just kill them directly."
With this sudden order, 100 members of the Dark Operation appeared and knelt on the ground, kowtowing to Lin Rei. "Yes, Sect Master. I will do it right away. All of you can get up. The remaining 50 disciples will guard this place well. Do as I said before. Whoever enters will die." At this moment, Lin Rei was filled with murderous intent as he ordered the members of the Dark Operation. After he finished speaking, Linley didn't look at them again. He drove away from Sky Bay Garden without looking back. At this moment, Black Shadow followed Lin Rei's orders and selected 50 people from the 100 members of the Dark Operation. Then, he secretly chased after Lin Rei's car. The remaining 50 members of the Dark Operation hid themselves and walked around the house to protect the safety of the villa. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was driving, was very excited because he was about to see his mother. The car was heading in the direction of the Ouyang family, but at this moment, the phone rang. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. The sound entered Lin Rei's ears. After stopping the car, he picked up the phone and saw the name Morongyu on the screen. After connecting, he asked the person on the other end, "What's wrong, sis? That second brother, I know where Auntie is. You don't have to go to the Ouyang family anymore." See, Morongyu's words directly made Lin Rei's heart jump. Without any hesitation, when he heard the news about his mother, he opened his mouth and asked, not allowing Morongyu on the other end of the phone to finish speaking. "Speak. Who captured my mother?"
"Tell me."
"Long family. Auntie is now in the Long family. But, second brother, don't be agitated. Perhaps." Ring, ring, ring. The sound of the phone being hung up could be heard. Morongyu, who was in the Morong family, instantly changed his expression. "Not good. It seems like something bad is going to happen. No, I have to go and take a look. I don't want anything to happen." Looking at the phone that had already been hung up, Morongyu's heart became restless. It was as if something bad was about to happen. In the end, he couldn't bear it any longer and walked out of the house. He drove in the direction of the Long family and quickly left. At the same time, Su Bo and Wang Hong both received a call from Morongyu. After learning about Lin Rei's movements, everyone's first expression was the same as Morongyu's. First, their faces turned ugly. Then, they all drove in the direction of the Long family. At that moment, the person who was feeling the most vexed was none other than Linley. When Huasheng heard that his mother was not in the Ouyang clan, but in the Long clan, Linley's killing intent had been aroused. If she was in the Ouyang family, after all, his mother was a child of the Ouyang family. He wouldn't have said anything. He would have just given her a warning. But the Long family, as one of the 5 big families, his mother didn't seem to have any relationship with them. Even if his mother was a person sent by the queen, she wouldn't have captured the Long family for such a long time and not let them go. At this moment, Lin Rei had already blacklisted the Long family in his heart. This matter couldn't be changed by anyone. Lin Rei seemed to have forgotten that his son was also in the car. Just now, because of a moment of excitement, he couldn't control his murderous aura. It directly leaked out, causing Jinan, who was in the back seat, to faint. Hee, this little guy. Looking at the fainted Jin En in the back seat, Lin Rei quickly used his spiritual power and woke up the fainted Lin Rei. With a guilty expression, he looked at Jin En and said embarrassedly that, "I couldn't control it for a moment. Are you okay?" Jin En, who came back to his senses, didn't have any hatred for Lin Rei because of this matter. He said with a smile, I'm fine. I'm just a little dizzy." It was normal for him to feel dizzy. After all, Linley's cultivation base was so powerful that he could kill earthly immortals. "Okay, then you sleep for a while. When we get there, I'll contact you again. In a while, I'll give you a chance to fight. Let me see how strong you are now." After speaking, Linley didn't say anything else. Instead, he used all of his strength to wrap around Jean N, allowing him to rest peacefully without making any noise or shaking. Lin Rei, on the other hand, drove the car to the Long family with mixed feelings. At this moment, in a villa in Beijing, the ancestors of the 5 big families and the current family heads were all there. Among them was a woman. However, this woman looked at everyone timidly and nestled in the arms of a man. Long Feng, just now I heard from the younger generation of the Su family that a senior is coming in the direction of the Long family. His words caused everyone to be on their guard. Their relaxed bodies tensed up in an instant. Sigh. What's coming will eventually come. Who asked the younger generation of the Long family to kidnap the person that the senior wanted? At this moment, Long Feng was no longer as strong as before. Other than being dispirited, his face was ashen. Moreover, Long Feng seemed to have aged a lot. When the middle-aged man behind Long Feng heard this, his face sank in shame. He didn't dare to say a word. Moreover, he couldn't speak at this moment. Time passed by slowly. For them, every minute that passed was like a day. Finally, what was supposed to come had come. The consciousness of the 5 ancestors had been paying attention to the entrance of the Long family's villa. They wanted to see when Lin Rei would arrive. At this moment, Lin Rei's car finally entered the range of their consciousness. Kacha, bang. The car door was pushed open. Lin Rei got out of the car expressionlessly. Then, the sound of another door opening was heard. When Jean N arrived, he was woken up by Lin Rei. Go, enter.
Go.
If anyone dares to stand in front of you, don't hesitate. Remember, the entire 9 Heavens Xuanzong sect is behind you. Your father is here to support you. After making this promise, Jean N no longer had any reservations. He quickly walked forward and looked at the tightly shut door of the Long family. Without any hesitation, Jean N kicked the door open. Bam! After a loud bang, the door of the Long family's villa was kicked to one side by Jean N. Furthermore, Jean N's small footprint was left on the door. This scene was deeply imprinted in the minds of the 5 great families' patriarchs. At the same time, they were also shocked. How could a child of this age be so strong? If they had known earlier, the Long family's main gate was made of refined iron. Ordinary people couldn't possibly reach this level. Good. As expected of my son, Lin Rei. Actually, Lin Rei also knew about the Long family's entrance. However, there was still some uncertainty about whether his son could do it. However, it seemed like he had been worried. Let's go. He followed behind his son and walked step by step into the depths of the Long family's villa. Along the way, there were all sorts of people blocking the way of Lin Rei and Jean N. However, Jean N was indeed Lin Rei's son. He went through all sorts of obstacles along the way. Whenever he saw someone blocking his way, Jean N would kick them down without hesitation. When they encountered cultivators who were too strong for Jean N to handle, the dark department hidden in the shadows would appear and kill them without mercy. Chapter 257. Jean N's murderous aura had been honed by killing the people who had blocked his way. At the moment, Jean N had completely become a cultivator and the young sect master of the 9 Sky Xuanzong sect. Lin Rei, who had been following behind Jean N, couldn't help but smile when he saw this scene. He was delighted, as this was exactly what he had wanted. Therefore, Lin Rei felt proud of Jean N for doing such a thing, not because he had killed people. Eventually, a third of the Long clan's low-level cultivators were all taken down by Jean N. There were even some people who looked down on Jean N and killed those who were wearing protective gear after being provoked by their words. At this moment, in the deepest part of the Long family's villa, everyone was scared. Through their divine senses, they saw the scene of Jean N killing people. Their bodies trembled involuntarily, their faces were pale, and cold sweat was dripping down their foreheads. Their divine sense was focused on Linley and Jean N, as well as the other members of the Dark Department. Step by step, they walked towards them. The Long family villa had been divided into 2 factions. One was Lin Rei's faction, while the other was the Long family's faction. However, it was obvious that the faction behind the Long family had lost all confidence after Lin Rei's arrival. Lin Rei and Jean En led 50 people into the depths of the Long family villa. When they looked around, they saw their mother leaning on a man. Lin Rei was furious. No matter what the reason was, if that man had dared to do this, then he had to be prepared to bear the brunt of Lin Rei's anger. Lin Rei moved in an instant. His spirit energy erupted, and his body started to fade. By the time it reappeared, Lin Rei had already arrived at Ouyang Jing's side. "How dare an ant like you touch my mother? You must have a death wish." Lin Li didn't use his full strength. His palm landed directly on the man's chest, and in the next instant, the man was sent flying. As for Lin Li, he carried his mother and returned to Jean En's side. Everything had happened so quickly that no one could react in time. The patriarchs felt a burst of spirit energy, but they didn't see Lin Rei's figure. Meanwhile, the middle-aged man who had been slapped by Lin Rei also flew a few meters before crashing to the ground. With a pew sound, a mouthful of blood was spat out from the middle-aged man's mouth. Some unknown pieces of flesh were mixed within the blood. The scene was extremely shocking. When the people of the Long family regained their senses, they hurriedly retreated to the middle-aged man's side and asked, "Zhong, Long family head, are you all right?" Cough, cough. I'm fine. Don't worry." Long Zhong raised his head and endured the pain in his chest as he replied to the people who were concerned about him. On the other side, Lin Rei looked at his mother with tears in his eyes. Although he had a lot to say, Lin Rei couldn't say anything at this moment. Lin Rei knelt down in front of Ouyang Jing in front of everyone. His voice was trembling, but it was filled with endless longing. "Mother, it's my fault. If I hadn't gone missing, you wouldn't have come to Beijing. If you hadn't come to Beijing, you wouldn't have been captured by those bastards from the Long family." At this moment, Lin Li felt as though something was stuck in his throat. It was difficult for him to breathe. His voice was choked with sobs as tears flowed from his eyes. They gently slid down his cheeks and flowed down. Boo-hoo! Ouyang Jing confirmed that the person in front of him was a son who had been missing for a long time. All the grievances from before were released at this moment. Tears also flowed down his cheeks. Son, where have you been all these years? Where have you been? Do you know how much I've missed you? I've been thinking about you every day. Are you full? Are you warm? Do you have a place to stay?" At this time, the two of them were already hugging each other. The two of them were sobbing to each other. This scene directly stirred up the atmosphere in the venue. All the ladies in the venue, under the influence of the two of them, also started to cry. As for the 5 patriarchs, as well as some of the younger members of the 5 great clans, when they saw this scene, they were all stunned. They only knew that Lin Li was looking for Ouyang Jing, but they didn't know the relationship between them. But now they all understood. The one who was in trouble was the Long family. At this moment, everyone from the Long family looked at this scene with their eyes wide open. It was a sad scene. At the same time, they also knew the seriousness of this matter. On the other hand, Long Zhong, who was lying on the ground, didn't feel sad when he heard that it was his son who had injured him. Instead, he smiled. Slowly, with the help of everyone, Long Zhong stood up and walked step by step toward Lin Rei and his mother. His face was smiling, but his eyes were filled with tears. At the same time, his body was trembling violently. I'm sorry, Mother. It's my fault. I left in a hurry because of some things back then, so I didn't tell you. Don't worry. I won't do it again in the future. We'll be together as a family in the future. Also, I've just arrived in Beijing. When I arrived in Beijing, I found my brother and sister and brought them to my place. They're currently in university. At this moment, Lin Rei's emotions could no longer be expressed with words. A smile that no one had ever seen before appeared on his face. It was a smile full of happiness. Yes, that's great. We'll never be apart as a family again. The two of them finally stopped crying. However, neither of them was willing to look away from each other. It was as if they looked away, all of this would be an illusion that didn't exist. Jing, Jing Er. A low and excited voice sounded, interrupting the two people's thoughts. Humph. You. At this moment, Linley was completely enraged. After all, he had finally found his mother, whom he missed dearly. Just as he was about to reunite with her, someone who didn't care about his own life had come forward and interrupted him. This was something that no one wanted to experience. No, Ray, no. You can't touch him.
Can't you?
Lin Ray, who was about to make a move, suddenly stopped his action from his mother under the blanket. This made Lin Ray very confused. He looked at his mother with a puzzled gaze, wanting to seek an answer.
Ray,
I'm your father.
Boom.
This explosive news short-circuited Lin Ray's brain at this moment. His mind went blank. Apart from the words, I'm your father, there was nothing else. The word father was so unfamiliar in the depths of Linley's memory. It was so unfamiliar that he had already forgotten about it. Therefore, when this middle-aged man in front of him said that he was his father, Linley was immediately stunned.
Sigh.
Don't be like this. He is indeed your father. However, due to the circumstances back then, he left and returned to the Long family after I gave birth to the three of you. I didn't want them to find you, and I didn't want you to return to your previous life. Thus, I changed your surnames to Lin.
Ha ha. Ha ha ha.
After Ouyang Jing finished his explanation, Lin Ray laughed out loud. His laughter was full of disdain and helplessness. His face was full of pain as he looked at this so-called father. Haha, father. This word has never existed in the past 20 to 30 years. Now you're telling me that you're my father. Do you think I can accept it? Moreover, my mother told me with certainty that my father died in an accident again. Therefore, I don't know about you, and I don't acknowledge you as my father. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't know what to do. His mother said that his father was dead. Now, an unknown father appeared out of nowhere. How could he accept this? But I'm your father after all. When Long Zhong heard his son say that he was dead, although his heart ached, there was a reason behind it.
Yes.
Ray, it was only a matter of time before. Forgive your father. He didn't do it on purpose. At this moment, Ouyang Jing and Long Zhong's words lingered in Lin Ray's ears. At this moment, Lin Ray was annoyed and had the urge to shut them up. At this moment, Lin Ray no longer wanted to explain whether he was his father or not. He didn't want to know, and he didn't want to know. Since his father didn't exist in the past few decades, there was no need for him to appear in the future. All members of the Dark Tribe, listen to my orders. Seal this place. No one is allowed to leave or enter. No one is allowed to enter no matter who they are. If anyone dares to violate this rule, kill them without mercy. As soon as he said this, the 50 members of the Dark Tribe who had been hiding in the dark revealed themselves immediately and kowtowed to Lin Ray. We will obey the sect leader's orders. In an instant, all the members of the Dark Tribe gathered around the area. Their Mahayana realm's spiritual energy was instantly unleashed, and an impenetrable cage appeared. In an instant, the moment the cage appeared, everyone panicked. Some of them even wanted to break out of the cage and leave. Just a small cage. Do you think it can trap us? Then you think too highly of yourself. At this moment, an idiot who came out of nowhere rushed into the sky. A dermic artifact appeared in his hand, and he slashed at the energy shield. How dare you violate the sect leader's orders? You're courting death. In an instant, a voice resounded abruptly. In the next moment, that challenger died without being able to react at all. Moreover, he didn't even know how he died. At this moment, the shadow of the leader of the Dark Tribe appeared out of thin air. His peak Mahayana realm cultivation instantly crushed down. I said that no one is allowed to leave. This is the first time. If there is a second time, I don't mind killing everyone here. I don't care if he's the patriarch of the 5 major families in Yanjing or the current patriarch. As long as you dare to do this again, I believe you know that I have the ability to do so. At this moment, Lin Ray walked out impatiently and said to everyone present, At the same time, a strong murderous aura was released. Ft, ft, ft. Everyone who felt Lin Rei's murderous aura, except for the members of the Dark Tribe, Jin En and Ouyang Jing, spat out a mouthful of blood under Lin Rei's murderous aura. Their faces instantly turned pale, and their auras weakened. Alright, I'm done talking. Alright, I don't want to say too much. People of the Long clan, tell me why you captured my mother. Also, tell me who did it and who was involved in it. Did my mother get hurt in the Long clan? Did you torture her? Tell me everything. I don't want to use the soul-searching technique, so hurry up and tell me everything. I promise that as long as you hurt my mother and the people who capture her, I will let the rest of the Long clan go. Long Feng, who had been waiting for a long time, had an ugly expression on his face. He was full of helplessness. He muttered in his heart, "Ah, it's finally here. This day has finally come."
Sigh.
Alright, I'll tell you everything. As long as you keep your promise and let those who have nothing to do with it go. Hearing Long Feng's words, Lin Rei agreed without any hesitation. Don't worry. I, Lin Rei, will definitely do what I promise. Since I said that I will let those who have nothing to do with it go, I will. Don't worry. Okay? After getting Lin Rei's promise, Long Feng told him everything he knew. Immediately, everyone present knew the ins and outs of the matter. However, they didn't see that Lin Rei's expression was getting uglier and uglier. When Long Feng finished, Lin Rei could no longer suppress his anger. Long Shi, Long Batian, and those who hurt my mother, if you don't want her Long family to be destroyed, get out here. His words, which were imbued with spiritual energy, spread out in an instant. Immediately, a terrifying pressure followed his words and suppressed everyone present. At this moment, Long Zhong, who was standing behind Lin Rei, had an ugly expression on his face. Long Shi and Long Batian were his brother and father. According to seniority, they were both Lin Rei's elders. After feeling the murderous aura from his son, Long Zhong quickly stepped forward to stop him. Rei, I beg you, don't kill them. They are your family. I beg you. Yes, Rei, although they treated me like that before, they are still your father's family. Look, can you? No. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't care whether they were his family or not. Anyone who hurt his mother must be punished. This was Lin Rei's thought at this moment. There's no room for discussion. So, what if they're my family? As long as they hurt you, I won't let any of them off. Even if it's this so-called father, a person who didn't bring me up, do you think you have the right to plead for me? Chapter 258. Lin Rei was a man of his word. He did not want to listen to anything else. He would not let go of the people who had returned his mother. Therefore, Lin Rei did not listen to their pleas. Okay, I will go and bring them all out. Please keep your promise. Long Feng had wanted to ask Ouyang Jing to plead for leniency. But now, it seemed that everything was in vain. Long Feng only hoped that Lin Rei would not bring harm to the innocent people of the Long family. After saying that, Long Feng hurriedly brought people into the room inside. Not long after, an old man and a dozen middle-aged men were caught. At that moment, they were all extremely respectful before Long Feng, and it was not appropriate for them to say anything. After all, Long Feng was their ancestor, and they knew that they only had one choice at that moment, and that was to pay a corresponding price for what they had done before, or even pay an even higher price. Say, Senior, this is Long Batian. The one beside him is Long Shi. Long Feng, who had brought the Long family members to Linli, hurriedly explained the origin of this matter and the main culprit. At this moment, Long Feng still had a little bit of hope in his heart. He hoped that Linli would let them go on account of the fact that blood was thicker than water. After all, they were his family. Oh? Are you the ones who kidnapped my mother and caused her to suffer so much? After hearing Long Feng's introduction, Lin Rei raised his head and looked at Long Batian, who was his so-called grandfather. Lin Rei's anger soared. He did not understand why he had made such a decision back then. Little bastard. I should have killed you back then to prevent future troubles. I didn't expect that you would grow to such a level today. I don't want to say much about it. I just want you to give me a quick death. After hearing Lin Rei's words, Long Batian, the former head of the Long family, knew that the young man in front of him was the son of that bitch back then. He also knew that Lin Rei was here for revenge. Therefore, he did not plead for leniency. Instead, he asked for death directly. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Well, family headlong is indeed the family headlong. You're really bold. You know that you've done something wrong, but you can still speak so confidently. I really admire you. However, don't you think that I'm letting you off too easily if I kill you now for what happened back then? Originally, Lin Rei wanted to give them a quick and painless death, but when he heard Long Batian call him a little bastard, Lin Rei decided that he couldn't let this matter rest.
What do you want?
Long Batian's heart trembled after seeing Lin Rei's bloodthirsty expression. He knew that something bad was about to happen. He couldn't help but ask Lin Rei. You'll know in a while. However, don't worry. I will definitely let you experience this shock. I will make you pay a painful price for everything you've done to us. As he spoke, the corners of Lin Li's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a cruel expression. Then he slowly walked towards Long Shi, one step at a time. You're the one who captured me and asked the Ouyang family for help. You said that you're looking for my mother. Do you know that my mother is my reverse scale? Anyone who touches my reverse scale will only have one result. Looking at this so-called uncle of his, Lin Li's hatred increased. He wanted to kill them immediately, but he couldn't. Because he didn't want these demons from the Long family to die so easily. He wanted them to experience the pain he wanted them to experience. He wanted them to watch their family members die one by one in front of them. He believed that this mental torture was the best way to punish them. What result? Long Shi was afraid. He was truly afraid. If he hadn't been afraid before, now that he had seen Lin Li's power, he was terrified. Ever since he was born, he had been a young master who didn't have to worry about food and clothing. He had never seen such a scene before. All right, I'll let you experience how it feels to have your soul extracted from your body bit by bit. What? Instantly, Lin Rei's words stunned everyone present. At the same time, they thought about Lin Rei's words. To have one's soul extracted was a very vicious thing. This was something that only the demonic path would do. Now, they were going to see their family members' souls being extracted in front of them. This would be a memory that they would never forget for the rest of their lives. Ouyang Jing, who was behind him, was shocked when he heard this. He knew that Lin Li was going to take revenge for her, but he couldn't understand why his son had become like this. It wasn't just Ouyang Jing. Lin Rei didn't realize that there was a familiar figure standing behind the old ancestor of the Shui family. She was standing there in a daze, watching everything that Lin Rei had done ever since he arrived. Shui Man, a friend of his from the class reunion. However, Lin Rei didn't know that Shui Man was also from the Shui family, one of the 5 great families. When Shui Man heard that Lin Rei was going to extract a person's soul, she couldn't help but feel a chill down her spine. She broke out in cold sweat. Her eyes were filled with disbelief when she saw this scene. She couldn't imagine how a kind-hearted person could turn into such a cruel and violent person after 2 years. She couldn't understand. Everyone's gaze was focused on Lin Rei. They didn't believe that Lin Rei would really do such a thing. However, they were too naive. In the next moment, an action that turned everyone's view of the world upside down happened. Lin Rei placed his hand on the top of Long Shi's head and chanted a few incantations. Instantly, a terrifying and unknown black aura started to seep out of Lin Rei's body. Long Shi's face was ashen, and his entire body was trembling as he stared fixedly at Lin Li, who was extracting his soul. He wanted to speak, but for some reason, he was unable to speak. As he ate, he felt as though his soul was being sucked away, and he had no strength left in him at all. Slowly, 5 minutes passed. Long Shi's 7 orifices started to bleed, and Lin Rei's hand started to move. A transparent figure appeared in Lin Rei's hand. It was a figure that looked exactly the same as what Long Shi had imagined. Other than the fact that the body was transparent, everything else was the same. The pain grew stronger and stronger. Longshi's mouth was wide open as he howled in pain. However, he didn't dare to howl because no one could hear him. Other than his pained expression, they couldn't feel anything else. As powerful cultivators, the 5 patriarchs, Long Batian, and the others could see that Longshi's soul was being slowly extracted from his body by Linley's hand. Those with lower cultivation bases weren't able to see the soul at all. All they could see was Longshi bleeding from every orifice, a look of agony on his face. You can't do this. He is your uncle after all. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens? At this moment, Long Batian finally understood what Lin Rei meant when he said that he wouldn't let them die in pain. Longshi was his son, his most beloved son. He couldn't just watch as his son's soul was being extracted right in front of him. He couldn't just stand by and watch as his son's soul was being extracted. Uncle? No, he's not my uncle. If he was my uncle, would he have imprisoned my mother? If he was my uncle, would he have beaten my mother up? So, he's not my uncle. He's a demon, a beast. Since that's the case, there's no need for him to take over a human's body.
So, you should thank me.
I'm helping him. Hearing Long Batian's words, Lin Rei glared at Long Batian with a vengeful gaze. The malevolent aura around him surged once more, reaching a peak. Everyone was speechless. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with Lin Rei's words. They wanted to rebut, but they didn't know what to do. Zhong, hurry and help. He's your younger brother. Are you just going to watch your son kill your younger brother? Just as Long Batian was helpless, he suddenly thought of his eldest son, Long Zhong. With a pleading tone, he begged his eldest son. With a loud thud, Long Batian fell to his knees and begged Long Zhong and Ouyang Jing, I beg you, please help. After all, he's Zhong Er's younger brother. He's your brother-in-law. Please ask your son to let go. Ouyang Jing, who was already beautiful, nodded in agreement when he saw his father-in-law, who had always refused to acknowledge him, kneeling before him and begging for help. You, please get up. I promise you. But I don't know if it'll work, so I can't guarantee the outcome. Although he said yes, Ouyang Jing couldn't guarantee it. He couldn't guarantee that he would be able to persuade his son, who couldn't be born in 3 years. So he told him the outcome in advance so that he wouldn't feel guilty if he didn't succeed. Okay. Thank you. As long as you can beg him not to kill Longshi, anything is negotiable. Finally, seeing that Ouyang Jing agreed, Long Batian hurriedly stood up. A rare smile appeared on his bitter face. Feeling helpless, Ouyang Jing walked step by step to his son Lin Rei. He said softly, Rei, you just be him. After all, he's your uncle and your father's younger brother. If you kill him like this, isn't it a little? Before Ouyang Jing could finish, Lin Rei interrupted. Yes, that's right. Okay, mother, I won't kill him.
Really?
You really won't kill him? Hearing his son's words, Ouyang Jing was surprised. He didn't understand. His son had said that he would kill Longshi. Why did he suddenly change his mind? Chapter 259. Lin Rei wouldn't reject his mother's request. However, Lin Rei wouldn't let people like Longshi and Long Batian off. Therefore, I won't do anything to them. Don't worry, mother. Lin Rei's next words surprised everyone. After making his promise to Ouyang Jing, he turned around and spoke to Jin En, who had been silent all this while, with a murderous look in his eyes. Your grandmother was bullied. Tell me, what are you going to do? His words stunned everyone, especially Ouyang Jing. When she saw Jin En standing not too far away, combined with her son's words, she knew that this child was her grandson. This bastard dared to bully my grandmother.
He can only die.
That's the only way those ants won't dare to be impudent.
Hiss.
A breath of cold air was sucked into everyone's mouths. Their eyes were wide open, and they had an expression of disbelief. This was because it was very difficult for a 5- or 6-year-old child to be so decisive. However, this child in front of them had actually said something that even a teenager wouldn't dare to say. Ha ha ha, good. You're indeed my son, Lin Rei. Since that's the case, you'll be the one to avenge your grandmother. Seeing his son agree so readily, a smile appeared on his face. Linley, who had been empty-handed, suddenly pulled out the 10,000-art sword of the changing wood into his hands. Here, use this sword to kill this bastard. As a reward, I'll give you a treasure that will be of great help to you. As he spoke, Linley used his spiritual energy to form a hand made of spiritual energy. He grabbed the sword and presented it to Jin En with a smile on his face. This scene wasn't much to the people who had been killed by Linley in the profound sky continent, but to the people here, it was something that they couldn't imagine.
Oh.
After Jin En agreed, he grabbed the Emu 10,000 Law's sword and walked towards Long Shi step by step. To Long Shi, every step he took was like the god of death waving at him. Jin En came in front of Long Shi and raised the long sword in his hand without any hesitation. From top to bottom, he directly slashed Long Shi's neck. A gaping wound appeared on Long Shi's body. Following that, Long Shi's vitality disappeared.
Finally, he died.
This scene happened so quickly. The crowd didn't even have time to react. They didn't think that this kid would dare to kill someone.
Father, he's dead.
After killing Long Shi, Jin En, who was holding the Emu 10,000 magical sword, turned around and reported to Lin Rei.
Ha, good son.
Come over and kneel down to greet your grandmother. When he heard Jin En's words, Lin Rei was very pleased. He didn't want his son to be weak. If he was weak, he would die a horrible death in the cultivation world. This wasn't what he wanted. Therefore, from now on, he would train him strictly. Killing was one of the training. Oh, I understand. When he heard his father's instructions, Jin En quickly walked forward and knelt on the ground with the Emu 10,000 magical sword stained with Long Shi's blood. He kowtowed to Ouyang Qian. Grandson Jin En pays his respects to grandmother. I hope grandmother will live a long and healthy life. At this moment, Jin En. He was no longer as cold-blooded as before. At this moment, he was like a child kowtowing to his grandmother, whom he had never met before. He looked very nervous and adorable. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they all thought that they were hallucinating. Okay. Okay, get up quickly. Grandmother didn't bring any gifts today. I'll make it up to you in the future, okay? When she saw her 5- or 6-year-old grandson kill someone, Ouyang Jing felt a chill down her spine. She didn't know how to get along with the child in front of her. She felt that something was wrong. Okay. Then, grandmother, you must remember. When Jin En heard Ouyang Jing's words, he stood up with a smile on his face and said to his grandmother again, as if he was afraid that she would forget. Okay, I'll remember. On this side of the family, there was a scene of harmony. On the other side, there was a scene of crying and wailing. It was very sad. A minute after Long Shi was killed, the crowd regained their senses. Long Batian and Long Zhong immediately went to Long Shi's corpse and knelt on the ground, crying. She felt extremely sorrowful. Her tears flowed down like water, as if they were free of charge. Son, why did you leave me like this? Son, brother, it's all my fault. I didn't save you in time. This scene made everyone present speechless. No one could stop this from happening, nor did they have the ability to stop it. Therefore, the only thing they could do at this moment was to watch and not let more people die because of this matter. Little bastard, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. You killed my son. Pay for my son's death with your life. At this moment, the grief-stricken Long Batian stood up like a madman because of his son's death. A 3-foot-long cold sword suddenly appeared in his hand. He rushed toward Lin Rei and Ouyang Jing. The moment this happened, the crowd was shocked. They didn't expect Long Batian to do something so extreme and brainless. I knew you would do this. However, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have a reason to kill you. At this moment, Linley's heart was filled with joy. Previously, he had been hesitant about how to kill Long Batian because of his mother. But now, Linley had enough reason to kill Long Batian without being criticized by others. Of course, This sentence could only be imagined in his mind. It wouldn't be good if he said it out loud. The moment Long Batian moved, Lin Rei's martial Emperor Divine Spear appeared in his hand. In an instant, Lin Rei's body disappeared. When Lin Rei reappeared, he was already beside Long Batian. For Long Batian, who was only at the lower stage of the form synthesis realm, Lin Rei could kill him with one finger, even if he didn't use the martial Emperor Divine Spear. Lin Rei didn't give Long Batian any chance to speak. The moment he came behind Long Batian, he raised the martial Emperor Divine Spear and stabbed it into Long Batian's back. The spear pierced through Long Batian's chest and into the ground. This happened so fast that no one could react. They only knew that Long Batian rushed out, but they didn't see Lin Rei's reaction. However, after this scene appeared in their eyes, everything was irreversible. Chapter 260. Everything was resolved at this moment. Lin Rei had no intention of killing the rest of the people from the Long family. He had kept his promise to Long Feng and killed the person in charge. As for the rest, it didn't matter if Lin Rei killed them or not. After all, he didn't want his image of a cold-blooded killer to be imprinted in his mother's heart. This wasn't something that he wanted to see, and it wasn't something that he wanted to see. At this moment, everyone present, including Shui Mand, had already forgotten about the kind and warm-hearted person in front of them. In their hearts, other than the cold-blooded person who killed without batting an eyelid, everything in the past had become a thing of the past. It was no longer worth remembering. Alright, remove the seal. Now that everything was resolved, Lin Rei's tense body and mind finally relaxed. Then, he raised his head and instructed the Dark Team members around the villa. The moment Lin Rei finished speaking, the 50 members of the Dark Team all removed their spiritual energy and returned to stand behind Lin Rei. The black figure from the Dark Team, who had been vigilant of the surroundings to prevent anyone from escaping, returned to Lin Rei's side and spoke respectfully to Lin Rei. Sect leader, what should we do with those people? Although they weren't the ones in charge, they were still indirectly involved. Do you need me? At this moment, the black figure looked at the dozens of people who had been captured by Long Feng. Long Batian and Long Shi, who were the ones in charge, were still alive. As such, the black figure asked for instructions from Lin Rei. However, he couldn't help but place a hand on his neck and make a killing gesture. Do as you deem fit. Remember, destroy all the corpses. We have killed their people, so we still have to clean up their mess. Although these words were nice, they were extremely harsh to the ears. It was as if he was mocking the Long family. Yes, your subordinate obeys. After receiving Lin Rei's permission, the black figure did not hesitate. He directly led a dozen people, and in the blink of an eye, the dozen people from the Long family who were originally standing had already fallen to the ground, dead. Then, a huge fire appeared on the bodies of those who had already died. Not long after, the deepest part of the Long family's villa returned to its original state. Even the smell of blood left behind by the killings was burned away at this moment. Killing and burning corpses is a common sight in the profound Sky Continent. There isn't a moment when people don't kill. However, this is an era of technology, an era that doesn't advocate cultivation. Therefore, when everyone saw this scene, their worldview was completely overturned. Everything had come to an end. At this moment, Linley's biggest thought was to quickly find a way to leave this place and go to a higher plane to train. He wanted to succeed in his training as soon as possible. After all, there was still a mission to rescue the Paixio. Time waited for no man. Turning around, Lin Rei looked at his mother, Ouyang Jing, who had been standing behind him all this time. He said to her with a smile, "Mother, I have avenged you. Let's go home. In a while, I will ask the black figure to bring Lin Feng and Lin Ro back. This way, our family can be reunited." When he was in the profound Sky Continent, Lin Rei had been looking forward to this moment. It was also because of the motivation of having a family that Lin Rei had been able to cultivate so quickly and desperately. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Rei couldn't wait to go home immediately and personally cook a meal for Ouyang Jing so that the family could sit together and enjoy a reunion meal. Okay. Let's go then. At this moment, although Ouyang Jing had been frightened by the way her son had killed without batting an eyelid, after thinking about it, she felt that it was all for her. Therefore, at this moment, she felt relieved. Especially when she heard about her second son and third daughter, Ouyang Jing wanted to go home immediately. Okay? Seeing that his mother had agreed, Lin Rei hurriedly said to the black figure behind him, "Black figure, go to Yanjing University and bring Xiao Feng and Xiao Rou to Tianwan Garden. As for the car outside, find someone to drive it back." "Yes, I will do it right away." The black figure, who had been standing at the side waiting for the task, responded after hearing Lin Rei's order and disappeared on the spot. Before he left, he ordered someone to drive Lin Rei's car back to Tianwan Garden. "All right, mother. Close your eyes. When you open them again, we will be back at my place. Furthermore, I will have a kind and gentle daughter-in-law." Seeing that everything had been settled, Lin Li turned to his mother. After saying that, he circulated his spiritual energy and wrapped it around Ouyang Jing and Jin En. Then he teleported and disappeared from the spot. Phew, he is finally gone. At this moment, the moment Lin Rei left, the group of people collapsed on the ground. Some of them even cried, including Shui Man. Even the 5 patriarchs weren't as strong as Lin Li. In the instant that Lin Li left, their taut nerves relaxed, and smiles appeared on their faces. "Haha, all right, brother Long Feng. This time, the calamity of the Long family is over. As long as we don't provoke that person in the future, I believe that our lives will be better." At this moment, Su Chu, who was well aware of the situation, smiled and said to Long Feng, who was beside him, who was filled with helplessness, "Haha, I hope so. Don't forget that there is still Long Zhong here. Do you think that he'll be inferior to him? I don't dare to guarantee anything else, but I am certain that it is impossible for that person to acknowledge Long Zhong as his father. Perhaps, if you anger that person, it will bring disaster to the Long family again." After the other 3 heard Long Feng's words, they began to discuss. In the end, Long Feng decided to directly remove Long Zhong from his position as the patriarch of the Long family. Only this way, if he made a mistake in the future, he would not care about the Long family and do what he wanted to do. After all, he had already done so much for Long Zhong in the past. The Long family owed him. After the matter was settled, Su Chu and the other old ancestors did not stay any longer. After dispersing, they brought their descendants and left the Long family's villa in a hurry.
Tianwan Garden.
At the entrance of the Lin family's villa. After leaving the Long family's villa, Lin Rei, Ouyang Jing, and Jin En teleported back to their own villa. Phew! After returning to his own villa and seeing this familiar scene, Lin Rei heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed a lot. "Haha, mother, we're home. You can open your eyes now." Lin Rei couldn't help but remind his mother when he saw that her eyes were still tightly shut. After the spiritual energy dissipated, the 3 of them appeared in the courtyard of the villa. At this moment, Jin En opened his eyes first and ran into the villa. Perhaps he was going to call his mother, or perhaps he was hungry. No one knew. Hearing her son's words, Ouyang Jing slowly opened her eyes. However, due to her age, it was inevitable that her eyes would feel a little uncomfortable when she opened her eyes. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei couldn't help but feel sour in his heart. Fortunately, Lin Rei controlled himself well and didn't cry because of this. After her eyes adjusted, Ouyang Jing raised her head and looked at the house that belonged to her son. Looking at the villa, Ouyang Jing felt very gratified because this was what she had hoped for her son since he was young. And at this moment, Lin Li had clearly achieved it.
Good. I knew that my son was the best.
Mother is happy for you for having such achievements. At this moment, Ouyang Jing smiled. It was a kind of relaxed smile that came from the inside out. At this moment, this smile was deeply imprinted in Lin Rei's mind and could never be erased. "Okay, let's go in." I don't know if your daughter-in-law is awake yet. Knowing that Jean Ling slept like that yesterday, he couldn't guarantee that Jean Ling was awake at this moment. Haha, young people. Besides, she gave birth to such a chubby son for you. Is it wrong for her to sleep with him? Besides, didn't you often laze in bed in the past? I didn't say anything. In an instant, after hearing his mother's words, Lin Ray's face instantly turned into a bitter smile. He didn't expect that before he even saw his daughter-in-law, he would start to protect her. How is he going to live like this in the future? Okay. You're right.
Sigh.
It seems that there's no place for me in this family in the future. After a bitter laugh, Lin Ray held Ouyang Jing's hand and walked into the villa. However, just as he lifted his foot and before he could land, a familiar voice came from the villa in Lin Ray. Hubby, why didn't you see Mother when you went to pick her up? Your son knows. Aren't you being too biased? Jean Ling walked out in a hurry. When she saw Ouyang Jing, she grabbed her hand and said shyly, "Daughter-in-law Jean Ling greets mothers." With the arrival of Jean N, Lin Ray finally understood that it was his son who had told Jean Ling. Thinking of this, when he saw the way Jean Ling looked at him when she came out, Lin Ray knew that tonight was not going to be a good night. However, Ouyang Jing liked her daughter-in-law the moment she saw Jean Ling coupled with the fact that she called her mother. Ouyang Jing liked her even more. Okay. We're all family. There's no need to be like this. TSK, I really didn't expect that our Ray could find such a virtuous and smart daughter-in-law. Not bad. At this moment, the more Ouyang Jing looked at Jean Ling, the more she liked her. In addition, this daughter-in-law had given birth to a chubby grandson for her, so Ouyang Jing liked her even more. You guys. Chapter 261. At this moment, Ouyang Jing pulled Jean Ling into the villa alone, but left Lin Ray outside, as if he had forgotten about her existence. Am I still your biological son? Everyone says that when you have a wife, you forget your mother. I think they are all wrong. When you have a wife, you forget your son. Although Lin Ray was very helpless at this moment, he was very happy in his heart. Because of his wife's identity and his mother's love, he was very happy.
Sigh.
Let's go. If your grandmother doesn't want us, then I'll go and cook for you. I'll let you grow up quickly, and then find a daughter-in-law for me. After glancing at Jean N and saying something that Jean N didn't understand, he pulled him out of the villa. Walking into the villa, Ouyang Jing and Jean Ling were sitting on the sofa and talking about something. The two of them couldn't close their mouths from ear to ear. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray didn't go forward to disturb them. Instead, he walked into the kitchen alone and began to cook. At this moment, the black shadow that went to pick up Lin Feng and Lin Ro from Yenjing University had already returned. Behind him was the younger brother and sister that Lin Ray had asked him to pick up. However, at this moment, Lin Feng and Lin Ro ran into the villa with tears in their eyes with excitement. As soon as the two of them entered the door, they heard their mother and sister-in-law chatting and laughing. They hadn't heard this kind of laughter for a long time. When they heard it again, the tears in their eyes couldn't help but flow down. Mom. Ouyang Jing, who was chatting with Jean Ling, turned his head when he heard these two calls. He saw Lin Feng and Lin Ro standing at the door, crying. For a moment, Ouyang Jing didn't have time to chat with Jean Ling. He quickly stood up and walked towards his son and daughter, who he hadn't seen for many years. Immediately, the three of them hugged each other and began to greet each other warmly. They even asked about boyfriend and girlfriend. Jean Ling, who was sitting on the sofa, didn't disturb them when she saw this scene. Instead, she quietly went to the kitchen. Sensing the arrival of his wife, Lin Ray did not make any movements. Instead, he continued to cook. However, at this moment, Jean Ling, who was behind Lin Ray, looked at her husband who was cooking. Tears instantly flowed from her eyes. She quickly stepped forward and hugged Lin Ray from behind. She leaned her head against Lin Ray's back and silently cried. Just now, when Jean Ling saw the scene between Ouyang Jing, Lin Feng, and Lin Ro, the memories that had been sealed away in her mind resurfaced. The memories of when she was in the profound heaven realm and with her grandfather involuntarily resurfaced. Lin Rei, who was cooking, felt that his wife was acting strangely. He stopped what he was doing and turned around. Seeing his wife crying, Lin Rei knew that she missed her grandfather. Ling, don't cry, don't cry. I know you are Grandpa Zhang, but we don't know where Grandpa went. Since this is Grandpa's choice, then we should respect his choice. Moreover, don't you still have me? I will always be by your side. He turned around and hugged Jinling to comfort her. However, he knew that it would take a long time to suppress this feeling. Boo-hoo. I know, but I miss Grandpa very much. Just like this, the two hugged each other. After a long, long time, Jinling's longing for her family faded a little. Well, don't think about it. When I have the strength in the future, I will take you to the profound heaven realm to see why Grandpa left. Well, okay. Hearing her husband's words, Jinling agreed happily. Well, you go out and accompany your mother. I am still cooking. At this time, Lin Rei released his wife and turned around to start cooking. Jinling did not listen to her husband. Instead, she flowed down and began to help. The two began to get busy in the kitchen. In the hall outside, Lin Feng and Lin Ro told everything that had happened in the past few years, including how Lin Rei came to find them after he came back. They told them everything without missing a word. Similarly, Ouyang Jing also told Lin Feng and Lin Ro that Long Zhong was their father. He also told them that their father was still alive. However, it was better than before. When Lin Feng and Lin Ro learned that their father was still alive, they were overjoyed. They had been bullied since they were young. They were said to be wild children without a father. Every time, it was Lin Rei who helped them take revenge. Therefore, they longed to have a father. Feng, Ro, or your big brother seems to be very conflicted about this matter. He saw your father, but your big brother said that he would not recognize him. Why don't you calculate his death after you finish eating? At this time, Ouyang Jing was very worried about Long Zhong. In one day, his father and brother were killed by his son and grandson. This kind of pain was unimaginable. Moreover, his son did not recognize him. Therefore, Ouyang Jing wanted to return to Long Zhong's side, stay by his side, and comfort him. Mother, we can't do anything about this matter. Since Big Brother came back more than a year ago, everything has changed. At this time, we have no way to persuade Big Brother. Therefore, I'm afraid this matter is very difficult. After hearing his mother's words, Lin Feng did not agree or refuse. Instead, he told his mother what he knew. That's right, mother. Besides, Big Brother is also a father. He knows the difficulties of being a father. Therefore, if Big Brother wanted to acknowledge me, he would have done so before. Therefore, this matter. After hearing her two sons' words, Ouyang Jing fell silent. She knew that her two sons' words were very reasonable. At this time, Lin Rei, who was in the kitchen, heard all the conversation between the three of them. This was something that Ouyang Jing and the others did not know. Without speaking, Lin Rei continued to cook. Soon, after the meal was ready, Lin Rei put all the dishes on the table. Then, he took out a jar of Huadiao wine and walked out. Mother, brother, Xiaorou, come and eat. The food won't taste good if it gets cold. After arriving at the table, Lin Rei called out to Ouyang Jing, Lin Ro, and Lin Feng, who were sitting on the sofa. He sat down alone. Okay. The whole family sat around the table at noon. Lin Rei opened the jar of Huadiao wine. Everyone drank a little, except for Jinan. Then he said with a smile, Mother, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Therefore, this glass of wine is for our reunion. After speaking, Lin Rei drank a glass of wine directly. Perhaps because he was relaxed and happy to see his family, after a glass of wine, he was tipsy. Chapter 262. Slow down. Hubby drinks slowly. Jinling, who was sitting next to him, looked at the big bowl of wine being drunk by her husband. She was a little worried. It's okay. I'm happy today. It's okay to drink some wine. Besides, if this little wine can knock me down, then you're underestimating your husband too much. Looking at his wife's worry, Lin Rui gave Jin Ling a reassuring smile. Then, he picked up the wine again and drank. Gulp, gulp sounds came from Lin Rui's throat. He didn't eat the food at all. Only the wine was left. Soon, Lin Rui finished the big bowl of wine by himself. Because he was overjoyed to see his parents and be reunited with his family, Linley had completely let go of all the wariness he had been keeping up with. Ouyang Jing, who had been watching this scene, felt very uncomfortable. He had never seen his son drink alcohol before, but now, he had finished a large pot of wine without feeling anything. He did not dare to imagine what had happened to his son in the past few years. Ray, I didn't plan to tell you about today's matter. Maybe it will hurt you, but I still want to say it. Lin Rui, who was happy, suddenly heard his mother's words. He knew what she was going to say next. I know what you want to say, but you don't have to say it. I will never acknowledge him. So, mother, you don't have to say it. Before Ouyang Jing could finish, Lin Rui directly rejected her. His attitude was so resolute that he didn't leave any room for negotiation. This made Ouyang Jing very sad. Big brother you. Lin Rui also wanted to mediate, but before she could say anything, Lin Feng beat her to it. Have you forgotten? What kind of life did we live when we were young? Every day there were all kinds of children bullying us. They said that we were children without fathers. Because of this, we fought with them almost every day. Have you forgotten all these? No one knew if it was because he was afraid of losing her or something else, but Lin Rui was so excited when he spoke that the wine glass in his hand was crushed.
Bang!
The loud sound made Lin Feng tremble. He quickly sat down and didn't dare to say anything else. Lin Rui and Ouyang Jing were even more so. They all knew that Lin Rui's life was very miserable when he was young. Every day, he had to bear the name of having no father and bully those who bullied his younger siblings. But no one said that his childhood was very miserable. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Mother has already told you that she has found that person. If you want to reunite with each other, I, Lin Rui, will not stop you. You can even change your names. After all, you are already adults. You are no longer children who rely on me to survive. Lin Rui knew that after his mother told them about Longzhong, this day would come sooner or later. It was only a matter of time. Therefore, Lin Rui didn't stop them. After all, they wanted to follow their father's life when they were very young. Lin Rui shouldn't be like them. Lin Rui's words had just left his mouth when the mother and children sitting opposite him looked at Lin Rui with eyes full of surprise. At this moment, they didn't know what Lin Rui was thinking.
Sigh.
Actually, I don't want to say anything more. I originally didn't have time to accompany you. The main purpose this time was to find Mother and then give you enough support so that people wouldn't dare to look down on you. I wanted to let you live a good life. But now, it seems that there's no need. At this moment, Lin Rui decided to tell the news that he was about to leave. However, it seemed that everything he had done before was now in vain. His mother and the others no longer needed the Nine Heavens Trading Company. After Lin Rui laughed self-deprecatingly, a jar of flower jiao wine suddenly appeared in his hand. After sealing it, he raised his head and began to pour it into his mouth.
Gulp. Gulp.
The sound was like a heart, directly striking the hearts of the three people. However, Lin Rui's actions stunned Lin Feng and Lin Rui, who were arranging what was going on. Big brother, this wine is how? Lin Rui, who was sitting across from Linley, couldn't hold back her curiosity and asked Linley. Her tone was filled with curiosity. Phew. Mother, I know that you want to return to that person's side. Moreover, you're willing to bring Lin Feng and Lin Rui with you. You even asked them to persuade me. However, what you don't know is that I came back this time to see you. As for what happened after that, I didn't expect it. Fortunately, this matter has been resolved. I have nothing to miss here anymore. I've left the mortal world, and my heart is free. There's nothing here for me to miss anymore. There's no place for me here. Beside him, Ouyang Jing had been thinking about what her son meant. At this moment, Ouyang Jing was even more certain that her son was going to leave her again. Thinking of this, Ouyang Jing became anxious. It was so difficult for her family to reunite. She hadn't even had a chance to properly talk, and now she was going to leave. What was she going to do? No, son, you can't leave. You've already left for 2 years. I won't let you leave. Ouyang Jing was scared. She was really scared. She was afraid of separation. She was afraid that her eldest son would leave her again. She didn't want to suffer a second separation. None of this was what she wanted.
What?
Big brother, you're leaving?
Why?
Where are you going? Yes, big brother. Why are you leaving again? Isn't it good for our family to live together? Lin Feng and Lin Ro came out of their daze after hearing the conversation between their mother and brother. Thinking that their brother was going to leave again, the two of them hurriedly expressed their doubts. They didn't want to see their brother leave without knowing the reason. Leave. Yes, I'm leaving. I've been back for more than 2 years. I've done what I needed to do. You have someone to rely on and don't need me anymore. Since that's the case, it's time for me to find my Dao. Only Lin Feng and Lin Ro didn't understand Lin Rei's words. Everyone else understood the meaning of Lin Rei's words.
What Dao?
I only know that, big brother. You can't leave us. At most, we won't acknowledge you. We won't acknowledge that person anymore. Please don't leave, okay? The two of them foolishly thought that their brother was leaving because of the person they wanted. In fact, they didn't know that Lin Rei had planned for a long time. Well, you can go now. I know that your dream since childhood is to live a father's life. Now, your wish has been fulfilled. But my life is not here. My life is destined to be full of blood and bodies. So, our lives are different. Once, I wanted to take you with me, but you chose to live a peaceful life first. Moreover, I don't want to see you become people who treat human lives like grass. So, after all, we're not on the same path. With that, Lin Rei stood up. He ignored everyone and went straight to his room. He left everyone. Alas. Mother, don't blame husband. With that, Jinling also stood up and walked to her room. She knew that her husband was in pain at this time. She couldn't help him. The only thing she could do for him was to accompany him. At this moment, the 4 people at the table were all silent. They didn't know that this would happen today, and they didn't understand why. Of course, only Ouyang Jing and Jin En knew. Mother, why? Why did brothers say such things? What do you mean by bodies floating for thousands of miles? What the hell is this? Finally, Lin Feng, who had been silent for a long time, asked the doubts in his heart. He was sure that his mother definitely knew something about it. Haha, Feng, maybe you don't know. In this world, there are not only ordinary people but also special people. Maybe you've heard of cultivators, or maybe you think that cultivators are made up in novels. But what I want to tell you is that cultivators really exist, and your brother is a cultivator. If I'm not wrong, your sister-in-law and nephew are also cultivators. With that, Ouyang Jing's eyes turned to Jin En, wanting to confirm the accuracy of this matter. Well, Grandma is right. Here, except for you, everyone else is a cultivator. However, my mother and father's cultivation has reached a certain level, and they are about to break through to the immortal level. I'm just a child who has just started cultivating.
Boom.
After getting the confirmation of this matter, Lin Feng and Lin Ro's minds went blank. They couldn't believe that their nephew and sister-in-law, who had lived with them for more than a year, were cultivators that they couldn't even imagine and could only imagine. Their worldview was completely subverted at this moment. They found it hard to believe that what their mother said was true. Well, Grandma, take your time to eat. I'll go back to my room first. As for what you want to know more, you can only tell Long Zhong from the Long family. I believe that he will be very willing to tell you everything and even teach you cultivation methods for you to cultivate. After Jin En explained to them, he didn't say anything more. Instead, he stood up and said goodbye to them, but the way he said goodbye was a bit special. Slowly, Jin En left, and so did Queen Sentixiu. Only Long Feng and Lin Ro were left in the living room. When the two of them came back to their senses, it was already very, very late. Therefore, the two of them didn't say anything and returned to their respective rooms to lie on their beds. However, tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. Chapter 263. Lin Rui and Jean Ling, who had returned to their rooms, lay on the bed and slept soundly. However, on the surface, Lin Rui looked like he was sleeping soundly, but in fact, he had entered the system. Lin Rui, who had just returned to his room, lay on the bed and let you enter the system in order to ask the little dragon about the entrance to leave this place and go to a higher plane to cultivate. Jean Ling then returned to the room and saw that her husband had fallen asleep. She thought that Lin Rui was like this because he was too sad, so she did not care. Instead, she snuggled up in Lin Rui's arms and fell asleep. At this time, in a space in the system, Lin Rui looked at the little dragon who had appeared and asked, "Little dragon, I've finished the matter here.
Tell me,
How can we leave here and go to a higher plane?" To Xiaolong, Linli didn't need to beat around the bush, because there was no need to. After all, the two of them had known each other for many years and had already become indispensable friends. Although the two of them would occasionally bicker, this was just their way of talking. "Oh, so fast? When you were in Tianxian, didn't you insist on coming back? Moreover, at that time, you wanted to stay here for a few decades.
why?
You've only been back for a few years and you can't stay anymore?" Looking at Lin Rui's appearance, the little dragon did not hide its teasing at Lin Rui. It had a despicable and annoying look. Sigh. To be honest, when I was in Tianxian, I had been working hard to come back. Even if I encountered danger, as long as I could increase the chance to go home, I would do everything to work toward this goal. However, after I was released, I worked hard to find my mother. Now that I've found my mother, I'm at a loss. At that moment, Lin Rui's eyes were filled with confusion. After finding his mother, taking revenge for her, and reuniting with his family, Linli's nerves, which had been stretched taut for a long time, suddenly relaxed. His heart was at a loss. He didn't know what to do next. There was always a voice in his heart telling him that he didn't belong in this life. And so Linli had come. He had come to ask Xiaolong for a solution. "Haha. I knew that you wouldn't be able to stay here for long, but I didn't expect that you would only stay here for a year." At this moment, the little dragon was in the air with his hands behind his back. From the back, he looked like an enlightened master. However, from the front, coupled with his words, he looked like a gangster. "Oh, then hurry up and tell me how to leave this place. An easy life will only wear away my will. Only by fighting. Only in the cultivation world can I continue to move forward." Lin Rui was really anxious. Although he had just broken through to the peak of the Mahayana realm, he could feel that his realm had stagnated. Moreover, his cultivation base and spiritual energy didn't seem to be as strong as before. As soon as this point appeared, Lin Rui couldn't help but start to worry. The richness and thinness of spiritual energy was related to whether he could fight with people of the same level. It couldn't be ignored.
Yes.
When I first came here, I read all the information here. However, unfortunately, I found that the teleportation formation here has been seriously damaged. There's basically no possibility of repairing it.
What?
Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rui exclaimed and looked at the little dragon in disbelief. How could this be? Then what should I do? I can't leave. After the exclamation, Lin Rui's face showed a disappointed expression. This scene made the little dragon in the air excited. However, Mo Wang's face was still calm. "However, if you can upgrade the level of the formation to the celestial level, I believe you can still create a teleportation formation. Maybe there will be an unexpected surprise. I'll beat you to death, you damn child." Lin Rui, who originally thought that there was no hope, suddenly heard the little dragon's words and became angry. He didn't expect that at this time he was still in the mood to tease him. Okay, don't make trouble." Looking at Lin Rui, who was about to make a move, the little dragon's back couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. A moment ago, he was still smiling mischievously. The next moment, he began to talk seriously to Lin Rui about how to build a teleportation formation. "I've read it. If you want to leave, you must reach the peak of the celestial level. Moreover, the most important thing is that when you came back, the system only gave you 10 years. Now, almost 2 years have passed, so you can only break through to the celestial level in the remaining 8 years. Otherwise, you know the consequences. What? 8 years? At this moment, Linley was very unwilling to believe it. If he had known earlier, when he had broken through to become a heavenly tier alchemist, he had gone through life and death situations and had the help of the elf tribe. But now, there was nothing here except for that Emperor-level array book. No matter how awesome he was, he couldn't have broken through to the peak of the heavenly tier by himself. Well, is there any other way? The peak of the celestial level is not a cabbage or a radish that can be found everywhere on the street. This requires time to settle down and rich experience to break through. Look at me, a newbie who doesn't know anything. Do you think I have the ability to break through to the peak of the celestial level in the next 8 years? After hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon, who originally had a serious expression, instantly revealed a look of contempt and ridicule. He looked at Lin Rei on the ground as if he was teaching his good-for-nothing child a lesson. He didn't care that Lin Rei had met him and scolded him directly. Rotten wood can't be carved. I say, Linley, are you an idiot? You're usually so clever. Why is it that when it comes to serious matters, your cleverness is all gone? What? Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei was stunned at first. Then, he asked the little dragon for guidance with a courteous attitude. I know, little dragon, you're the best. I'm on fire now. How can I still have time to think? Hurry up and tell me. Looking at Lin Rei's appearance, the little dragon also knew that now was not the time to fool around. Then, he began to seriously talk to Lin Rei about the solution. Have you forgotten? Didn't I give you a spatial immortal weapon called the Cosmos Bell before? You can use the time difference between inside and outside to cultivate your formation. That way, only 3 or 4 days will have passed outside for a year inside. The little dragon's words enlightened Lin Rei. At this moment, Lin Rei really wanted to find a hole in the ground and crawl into it. Chapter 264. Okay, I'll go and prepare now. I'll go into seclusion immediately. But before that, there are some things that need to be solved first. After speaking, Lin Rei's consciousness returned to his body. However, it was still night, so Lin Rei did not get up. Instead, he fell asleep with his wife in his arms. On the horizon, a ray of morning glow slowly rose. It was so beautiful that people would fall in love with it. In the blink of an eye, the night passed. Lin Rei woke up early in the room and made breakfast. Then, he woke everyone up for breakfast. At this moment, all the family members were sitting at the dining table. However, because time had passed, except for Ouyang Jing, Jean Ling, and Lin Rei, the others all looked at the food on the table with sleepy eyes. They had no appetite. Their faces were full of unhappiness, but they did not dare to vent it out. They could only hold it in their stomachs. Mother, you woke you up today. It's very simple. Don't you want to go to Longzhong? Since that's the case, you guys can go after this meal. As for Lin Feng and Lin Ro, if they want to follow you, you can take them with you. Lin Rei's casual words shocked the sleepy siblings, Ouyang Jing, and the others. They did not know why their brother, would mention such a thing at this time. They were very confused. At the same time, Ouyang Jing was also very surprised. He wanted to return to Longzhong's side, but he did not expect it to be so fast. Moreover, it was his son who brought it up. Rei, what are you doing? Yes, brother. What's wrong with you? At this time, the mother and the children were very puzzled. What was wrong with their brother this early in the morning? Nothing. It's just that I have something to do in a while and have to leave for a few years. Moreover, in here, I may not have contact with the outside world, so you are here. I can't see you either. Didn't Mother tell you about Longzhong when she came back? I know that you want to have a father, so you can go. Silence. Everyone was silent. Ouyang Jing, in particular, teared up when he heard what Lin Rei said. His throat wriggled as if he wanted to say something, but it was blocked by an unknown thing, and he couldn't speak. It was even more so for Lin Feng and Lin Ro. When they heard Lin Rei's words, they didn't know what to say. To be honest, when Lin Rei came back, they felt that they had been separated from each other for more than 2 years. However, as they got along, their feelings for each other became stronger and even better than before. Lin Rei and Lin Feng had mixed feelings at the moment. They really wanted their father, but for their older brother, they wanted their older brother to accompany them. After all, there was no one else in their childhood apart from their older brother. It could be said that Lin Rei was like a father to them, giving them fatherly love that they had lost. At this moment, they hesitated. It was difficult for them to make such a choice. In the end, they looked helplessly at their mother beside them for help. All right, little Feng and little Ro, I know you really want it, but it's also difficult for you to make a choice. However, father is a very important existence to you, but to me, he's just an illusory existence, a dispensable existence. So, go with mother. If you want to come back to see me, it's still possible. However, I might not be around for the next few years. If there's anything, just look for the black shadow guarding the villa. He'll help you solve all the problems you want to solve. After he finished speaking, Lin Rei didn't say anything else. Because at this moment, Lin Rei's heart was already aching. He didn't want to be separated from his newly reunited family, but Lin Rei couldn't force his will on them. If that was the case, Lin Rei would rather not have such a family relationship.
Sigh. All right.
Since you've already made up your mind, I won't say anything else. Ouyang Jing, who had been staring at Lin Rei, observed her son for a long time. But in the end, Ouyang Jing only observed his determination, incomparable determination. Therefore, she knew that this matter was already set in stone and couldn't be changed. What? Mother, you're right, aren't you? We've just been reunited with Big Brother. Why do you want to look for someone we've never seen before who claims to be our father? Hearing her mother's words, Lin Ro was unwilling for a moment. In the past year, or even more than 10 years before that, her elder brother had spent all of it with her. Now they had to be separated. How could she bear this? Yes, mother. This time, I agree with sister. That person claims to be our father, but we've never seen him before. As for Big Brother, he has indeed been with us all this time. When we were bullied by others, it was Big Brother who rushed forward alone and chased away those who bullied us. All these years, if it wasn't for Big Brother, we probably wouldn't have been able to live so well. Moreover, now that our standard of living has improved, why do we still have to look for him? Perhaps because he knew that Lin Rei was about to be separated, Lin Feng couldn't control his emotions and shouted. When the few people around saw this scene, they were all stunned. Usually, Lin Feng was the calmest. After encountering any situation, he would treat it with a calm attitude. But now, this was the first time Lin Rei and the others had seen him like this. That's enough. At this moment, when he saw that the situation was about to get out of hand, Lin Rei hurriedly stepped forward to stop them. Impudent. How can you talk to your mother like that? Lin Rei knew that his younger brother and sister were like this because they couldn't bear to part with him. However, Lin Rei really wanted them to live in a peaceful and realistic world. How good would it be if the family was happy? He didn't want his younger brother and sister to live like him, licking the blood from the knife's edge. A life where they might be killed every day. This wasn't what Lin Rei wanted. I know that you can't bear to part with me, but have you thought about Mother? Compared to me, Mother obviously needs you more. When I'm not around, you have to take care of Mother as much as possible. Don't let her suffer any harm. If I come back and find that Mother has lost weight or is injured, then you'll have to wait for my punishment. We understand. After hearing their elder brother's words, they knew that this matter couldn't be reversed, so they could only agree. After all, they all felt that their elder brother was right. All right, take this card. You can buy whatever wine you want in the future. After all, it's better to take your family's money and spend it comfortably than to be given by others. As he spoke, Lin Rei took out 2 black cards from his pocket and handed them to Lin Feng and Lin Ro. His eyes were filled with reluctance as he spoke. Hearing their elder brother's words, Lin Feng and Lin Ro raised their heads. Looking at the cards in front of them, they took them without hesitation and put them in their pockets. Well, you should have the ability to protect yourselves. So, from today onwards, you two have to come here every day to cultivate. I'll send someone to watch over you and guide you. Although I don't want you to step into this world of corpses and blood, in today's world, if you don't have the ability to protect yourself, then you're like a piece of fat meat on the knife's edge. You can only be slaughtered by others.
Ah,
really? After hearing Linley's words, the two of them instantly became interested. The two of them were looking forward to cultivating, but without Linley's permission, they didn't dare to do it. Elder brother, are you really going to let us cultivate? Yes. Looking at his younger brother and sister's happy smiles, Lin Rei's heart was filled with a sense of satisfaction. However, cultivation is a very difficult and boring thing. Just like a person, in order to break through a realm, it's possible to cultivate for hundreds of years without leaving the house. So, if you step into the cultivation world, you have to overcome these difficulties and walk to the end without fear of hardships. Lin Rei was at ease about this. After all, the two of them had followed him since they were young. So, Lin Rei trusted them very much. At the same time, he also believed that they could cultivate to an unimaginable level. Okay, we know. We will definitely not let our elder brother's church down. We will definitely study hard and practice hard. We will not waste our time. At this moment, Lin Feng and Lin Ro were very excited. Since yesterday, when they heard about cultivation, the two of them didn't sleep at all. They spent the whole night thinking about how they could also cultivate. They didn't expect that the next morning, their dream would become a reality. Okay, you guys hurry up and eat. After eating, leave with your mother. Remember, you have to come back to study every day. You can't miss a day. With that, Lin Rei stood up, turned around, and walked upstairs. However, the moment he turned around, his originally smiling face collapsed instantly. His face was full of reluctance as he left. At this time, Jinling also stood up and said goodbye to Ouyang Jing. Then, she followed Lin Rei back to the room. When Lin Rei was talking just now, she was present the whole time. She was very surprised that Lin Rei was going to leave. She didn't know that her husband was going to leave, so she had to figure out what was going on.
Dong.
Jinling, who came to the room, angrily closed the door and made a loud noise. She came to the bed and sat down unhappily. Lin Rei, who was sitting on the sofa, couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart when he saw his wife's situation. Sigh. Why did I forget to tell Ling first? Now, it seems that Ling is angry. With that thought, Lin Rei immediately stood up and walked towards Jinling step by step. He cooked on the bed with a smile on his face. In an instant, a hand blocked Jinling's eyes and begged. My dear wife, I was wrong. Everything is my fault. I didn't inform you in advance. Tell me, how do you want to punish me? I'll endure it. At this moment, Lin Rei was shamelessly fawning on Jinling. If this scene were to be seen, those people would be shocked. Alright, I'm not angry with you anymore. But first, you have to tell me why you said you were going to leave for a few years. You're not going to go into seclusion again, are you? Ling knows me better than anyone. After seeing his own days and confessing his intentions, Lin Rei showed the main reason for his seclusion this time. I went into seclusion this time to study formations. I observed planet Aqua Blue and found that there is no longer a teleportation formation here. So, as long as I cultivate to the level of a heavenly formation master, I will be able to draw a teleportation formation myself and leave this place. Oh, I see. After hearing her husband's explanation, Lin Rei was relieved. She didn't want to interfere with this matter. After all, she also wanted to leave this place. Then, how many years are you going to be in seclusion? Last time, you were in seclusion for a year. This time, It was hard to imagine that last time, he was in seclusion for a year just to break through his cultivation. But now, he was practicing formations. Jinling had read about formations in ancient books. Every time a formation master advanced, the difficulty would increase exponentially. Therefore, Jinling didn't dare to imagine how long her husband would be in seclusion.
Sigh.
There's no other way. There's no teleportation formation here. But don't worry, it won't be long before I can cultivate to the heaven rank. I promise you. Lin Rui knew that since he recovered his memory, the time he spent with Jinling became shorter and shorter. They might not even see each other for a few years. But what could he do? Well then, go ahead. I'll help you take care of this place. I'll urge my son to practice hard and study hard. Don't worry and go into seclusion. I'll help you take care of everything outside properly. At this moment, the only thing Jinling could do for her husband, who was about to go into seclusion, was to help him take care of the trivial matters outside so that he could rest assured. Well, it's good to have you. Looking at such a well-behaved colleague's wife in his arms, Lin Rui felt extremely happy. After that, Lin Rui and Jinling cuddled for a while, then disappeared from the room. They went into the heaven and earth bell and began their seclusion. In the outside world, Jinling knew that her husband had gone into seclusion, so she quickly went outside and told Ouyang Jing and the others. After that, Ouyang Jing left Tianwan Garden according to Lin Rui's words and went to the Long family's villa. He brought Lin Feng and Lin Ro and successfully moved into the Long family's villa. However, they still went to Tianwan Garden to practice every day as Lin Rui had instructed. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 8 years had passed, and many people had changed. It had been 8 years since Lin Rui went into seclusion. During these 8 years, Ouyang Jing would go to Tianwan Garden every year for a while and bring Long Zhong, Lin Feng, and Lin Ro. However, during these 8 years, Lin Rui had always been in seclusion. In 8 years, his son, Jin En, who was originally 6 years old, had now grown into a 14-year-old young man. He was fair and clean, looking like a rich young master. Chapter 265. 8 years have passed, and everyone is changing. However, during these 8 years, Lin Rui has always been sitting in the Cosmos Bell, practicing the way of array formation. In the past 8 years, Lin Rui's cultivation of array formation could be considered to have reached a small level. It could be said that it was enough to draw a teleportation array and leave by himself. During this period of time, although the way of array formation had been cultivated to the peak of the heaven stage, his cultivation did not change at all. He was still at the peak of the Dashang stage. However, if the current Lin Rui was compared to the Lin Rui before his closed-door cultivation, Lin Rui could destroy his previous self into ashes. Although in the past 8 years, his cultivation did not increase, the purity of his spiritual power had indeed greatly improved. Moreover, not only the purity of his spiritual power, but his realm had also improved to a terrifying level. From the realm of the Earth Immortal, he had advanced to the realm of the Great Principal Golden Immortal. The current Lin Rui could advance at any time as long as he hesitated about his experience and spiritual power, and there was no sign of instability in his foundation. In the past 8 years, although Lin Rui could not practice any cultivation method, Lin Rui had experienced the truth of the great Tao from the way of array formation. Although it was vague, he, who was at the peak of the Dashang stage, touched on something that even a golden immortal might not be able to do. Although on the surface Lin Rui had been in closed-door cultivation for 8 years, in fact it was not. The time in the Cosmos Bell was different from the time in the outside world. Although 8 years had passed in the outside world, Lin Rui had already spent thousands of years in the Cosmos Bell. Otherwise, let alone a heaven stage array master, he could not even become a profound stage array master in 8 years. Moreover, the reason why he could become a heaven stage array master in 8 years was more because Lin Rui already had the spirit of a heaven stage array master. Therefore, Lin Rui had a unique opportunity in this regard. During this period, Lin Rui had already learned the second level of the Chaos Scripture. What surprised Lin Rui was that the second level could be cultivated directly to the immortal stage. Although Lin Rui was very excited, his soul had been cultivating for a long time, so he was already mentally prepared. Therefore, although Lin Rui was very excited, Lin Rui did not show it. Phew. Within the Cosmos spell, in the space where Linley was located, Linley, who had his eyes tightly shut, suddenly opened them. In the darkness, a bright light flashed through Linley's eyes. At this moment, Linley's eyes revealed a look of vicissitudes that made it hard for others to fathom. This was completely inconsistent with his youthful appearance. For a person at his age to have such a sense of vicissitudes, it was either that he had experienced many things that others had not experienced, or that he had shown it through the accumulation of time. However, in the eyes of outsiders, Lin Ray obviously did not belong to the second choice. Haha. I've finally cultivated the array to the peak of the heaven stage. I believe that it won't be long before I can leave here and head to a higher plane of existence to cultivate. When that time comes, everything will return to its original track.
Sigh.
At this point, Lin Ray sighed and revealed a look of disappointment.
Yo, who is this?
What's wrong? You're leaving now. Aren't you a little reluctant? Suddenly, in a clever and dark place, after Lin Ray sighed, a teasing voice suddenly sounded, which made Lin Ray instantly awake. Why are you here? This doesn't seem to be the system. The person who spoke was the system's artifact spirit, the little dragon. After hearing the little dragon's voice, Lin Ray frowned and looked in the direction of the voice with a puzzled expression. Lin Ray, don't forget that the Cosmos spell was given to you by the system. Besides, I'm not on the same level as the Cosmos spell. No matter what you say, I can still come in, so you don't have to be confused about this. Oh. After hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray nodded as if he didn't know, indicating that he understood. I didn't expect that after 8 years, you would be able to do something that others wouldn't be able to do in their lifetime. I really have good eyesight, I didn't misjudge you. At this moment, the little dragon had already observed the aura of a heaven-rank array master coming from Lin Ray's body and started praising him with a look of worship. This made Lin Ray, who was sitting on the ground, feel a wave of helplessness. Damn, this guy, can't he be a little more reserved? Where's his face? Why didn't he bring his face with him when he went out? Looking at the little dragon in the sky, Lin Ray helplessly covered his head with one hand, looking as if he didn't want to pay attention to him. At the same time, he was muttering in his heart. Of course, Lin Ray didn't dare to say these words out loud. Otherwise, if the little dragon heard these words, it could be imagined that the little dragon would definitely wait. Okay. Are you here to congratulate me or to discuss me? In the end, Lin Ray really couldn't take it anymore and said to the little dragon in the sky. However, it was really effective. The moment Lin Ray finished speaking, the little dragon stopped perfecting himself and walked down from the sky. He arrived in front of Lin Ray and said to Lin Ray with a look of admiration. You didn't disappoint me, nor did you disappoint yourself. I've always agreed with this point. You did it, you did what others couldn't do. But because of this, you can't be arrogant because of this. You must guard against arrogance and rashness and work harder than before. Otherwise, all of this will be lost sooner or later. Damn it! At this moment, after hearing the little dragon's words, he was originally happy about breaking through to the heaven-rank array master, but at this moment, all of that mood vanished like smoke in thin air. Anger surged up, and he couldn't hold it in anymore. I say, little dragon, you didn't look at the almanac before you went out. This one sentence directly stunned the little dragon. Although Lin Ray knew a lot of things, he had never heard of something like the almanac. Almanac? What almanac? Sure enough, I knew it. Otherwise, you would know that today you'll have a bloody disaster. The moment he finished speaking, Lin Ray stood up, pounced on the little dragon, and began all kinds of torture. But during the process, the little dragon didn't seem to feel any discomfort. In the end, Lin Ray could only helplessly stop. I say, even if you don't feel anything, can't you cooperate? You're making me lose face. At this moment, Lin Ray's anger had subsided. He remembered what the little dragon said before, but no one would be able to resist saying such things when he was happy. Oh. Next time I'll work hard to cooperate with you. The little dragon's one sentence directly left Lin Rei speechless. He didn't know what to say next. Okay, stop fooling around. Now that the spell formation has broken through, what should we do next? At this moment, Lin Rei sat back in his original place and began to ask the little dragon for advice in a serious manner. The little dragon also knew the seriousness of this matter, so he didn't say much. Instead, he directly told Lin Rei what to do next. I know that you've broken through to the heaven rank, so the next thing is to properly say goodbye to your family in the little time you have left. Then, go to a place with excellent scenery and draw a 9 spirits teleportation array. Only then can we leave this place. What, a 9 spirits teleportation array? Lin Rei, who originally had a relaxed expression, instantly frowned and revealed a dangerous expression after hearing the little dragon talk about the spell formation. Lin Rei knew about the 9 spirits teleportation array. When he was cultivating as a formation master, he had seen it in an emperor-level spell formation book. The 9 spirits teleportation array was a peak heaven rank spell formation. It was different from ordinary spell formations. Ordinary teleportation arrays could teleport from one end to another, but the 9 spirits teleportation array was different. It could only teleport once, and there was no specific location. As long as you activated the 9 spirits teleportation array, then what happened next was not up to you. The difficulty of drawing it was also very high. Therefore, when Lin Rei heard that the 9 spirits teleportation array was enough, he understood the difficulty of this matter. Little dragon, are you sure you want to set up the 9 spirits teleportation array? He doesn't teleport to a fixed location. No one knows where he'll be teleported to. Won't you be in danger by doing this? Although Lin Rei had the courage to break through, he still had some misgivings about this point. One had to know that this kind of teleportation array generally only had a 0.1% success rate. No one was willing to use this kind of teleportation array. Therefore, this kind of teleportation array was listed as a heaven rank spell formation. That's right, this is what I want. You have to know that cultivation is originally going against the heavens. Everything is already predestined. If you want to follow the will of the heavens, then you can only live under the Great Tao for the rest of your life and become a pawn of the Great Tao, a puppet. If you don't want to be like this, then you can only go against the heavens and walk your own path. On this path, there are all kinds of life-threatening dangers. You can't be overcautious every time you encounter such dangers. You will only lose more, and you won't be able to do anything.
Boom.
It was as if a shackle had been lifted after the little dragon's words. It was as if the shackles that had been sealing Lin Rei were opened. At this moment, Lin Rei suddenly understood. The Great Tao was merciless, and cultivation defied the heavens. It turned out that the realm of the Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal had directly risen to the middle stage of the Immortal Monarch realm.
Ah, good. Well said.
Cultivation defies the heavens, and the Great Tao is merciless. Good, you're right. At this moment, Lin Rei's eyes flashed. His eyes were much brighter than before, as if Lin Rei had understood a lot at this moment. That's right. Besides, you're my host. Would I harm you? Looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon revealed a smile of satisfaction. Well, we'll do as you said and draw the 9 spirits teleportation array. However, the cost of drawing this kind of array is very high. Don't you think you'll have to? After saying this, Lin Rei stretched out his hand and asked for something from the little dragon. What do you mean? I'm telling you I don't have anything, but I do have a life. Take it if you want it. Having said that, the little dragon stretched its neck in front of Lin Rei like a rascal. Damn, you're not asking me to pay for the array out of my own pocket, are you? There are tens of thousands of people behind me. I don't care. Anyway, I'm not the one who wants to leave. I really want to stay here. Anyway, I don't have anything. The two of them, one after the other, began to talk without any forewarning, all for the sake of drawing up the necessary materials for the 9 spirits transfer array. In the end, Linley had no choice but to reluctantly part with his treasures and pay out of his own pocket. It's fine if that's the case. You made me waste so much time here. However, although I can't give you what you want, don't forget that your array has broken through to the peak of the heaven stage. The system has a lot of rewards for you, but here, the system can't do anything about it. So, if you want it, quickly leave this place and enter the system. Just as Lin Rei was feeling sad that he was about to use up his family's resources, the little dragon's words made him feel much better. Before the little dragon finished speaking, Lin Rei left the place and entered the system. Wow, it's really different. The system scenery and the cosmos clock are on a different level. It's pitch black there, but here, it's full of birds and flowers, mountains and rivers. It's so beautiful. Lin Rei, who had spent 1,000 years in darkness, was stunned and sighed when he saw this scene again. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the heaven stage. These sudden words pulled the stunned Linley back to reality. Raising his head, he saw that all of his information had appeared in front of him. Only, there were a few things that hadn't been there before. Name: Lin Rei. Age: 32. Cultivation: Peak of the Mahayana Realm Experience: 3000000/3/600,000,000. Spiritual Roots: Thunder, Fire, Wood, Metal Chaos. Spiritual Roots Talent: Middle Stage Immortal Monarch Realm Cultivation Method. Second Stage of the Primal Chaos Scripture. Incomplete. Devouring Heavenly Technique. Growable. Primordial Pill Refinement. Entry Cultivation Method. Cloud Formula. Emperor Grade Cultivation Method. Same formation. Emperor Grade Cultivation Method. Tyrant Body. Technique: Emperor Grade Cultivation Method. Martial Skills: Butterfly Steps. Entry Level: Star Finger. Proficient: Silent Thunder Spear Art. High-level Dark Level Martial Skill. Now practice to the entry level. Can produce 3 Thunderbolts. Myriad Sword Art. Heaven Stage. Level 3 Incineration. Emperor Level: Dragon Subduing Step. Emperor Level: Shura Spear Art. King Level: Shura Sword Formation. King Level: Divine Changes. Emperor Level: Spiritual Treasures. Martial Emperor Godly Spear. High-level Spiritual Chi. Growable. Myriad Magic Sword. Gradeless. Myriad Beasts Furnace. Heaven and Earth Bell. Supreme Grade Celestial Artifact. Heavenly Temple. Upper Grade Celestial Artifact. Equipment: Cloud Treading Boots. Spiritual Weapon Upper Grade. Purple Cloud Robe. Spiritual Weapon Upper Grade. Purple Cloud Inner Armor. Spiritual Weapon Upper Grade. Purple Jade Crown. Immortal Artifact Low Grade. Purple Jade Wood King Hairpin. Immortal Artifact Low Grade. Middle Grade Celestial Artifact Set. Carefree. Mount: Red Flame Tiger. Peak of the Mahayana Realm. Lucky Draw Wheel. 2 Ward General Lottery System. The Ward General Lottery opportunity has been used up. This system has been permanently sealed. Reputation Points: 130,000 Exchange Points. 0 Spiritual Stones. 0 Heaven Stage Alchemist. 368,505,0000. Heaven Stage Array Master. 500,005,0000. Top Grade Spiritual Herbs. Heaven and Earth Treasures. Purple Gold Nephrite. Purple Gold Sand. Purple Gold Nephrite. 50 kilograms. Purple Gold Godly Iron. 50 kilograms. Side mission: within 300 years, reach the cultivation level that the system thinks of. If you can't complete it, the system has the right to directly kill you. When your strength is improved again, rescue the suppressed Paishio. Medicinal Pills: 11 Mind Control Pills. 8,000 Mind Control Pills. Chapter 266. After looking at his own information, Linley did not become arrogant because of this. Instead, Linley's nerves became even more tense. If he knew that he only had 300 years now, if he could not cultivate to a certain level and bring out the Paishio in 300 years, then the system would directly erase him. At the thought of this, Lin Rei was not in the mood to waste time here. At this moment, Lin Rei was confident that he could leave this place as soon as possible and go to a higher plane to improve his cultivation. Okay, I know. I'm not here to look at the information. Hurry up and give me the reward I got for advancing to a formation master. Going straight to the point, Linley didn't try to beat around the bush. Instead, he went straight to the point and stated his purpose for coming here. Ding dong, okay. Host, please don't panic. What should be given to you will naturally be given to you. You won't be short of anything. Hearing the system's words, Lin Ray pursed his lips and asked the obvious. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for advancing to a formation master. The reward is 4 immortal weapon formation flags. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for advancing to a yellow level formation master. The reward is black yellow pill, peak of the heaven level. It can stabilize a cultivator's realm. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for advancing to a black level formation master. The reward is Luo Long Formation Map, Heaven Level Formation Map. It can trap a cultivator in the celestial immortal realm. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for advancing to an Earth Level Formation Master. The reward is Dazzling Light Sword, Middle Immortal Weapon. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for advancing to an Earth Level Formation Master. The reward is Level 3 of the Chaos Sutra.
What?
The Level 3 of the Cultivation Sutra came out just like that? At this moment, when he heard the last reward, Lin Ray was completely dumbfounded. When he had broken through to the Mahayana realm, Lin Ray had begun to worry about how to obtain the Level 3 of the Cultivation Sutra. He did not expect that after advancing to a Heaven-level Formation Master, the reward was the Level 3 of the Chaos Sutra that he had always dreamed of. Even if Lin Ray's tolerance was strong, he could not help but encounter such a thing. Io, look at that silly look on your face. Isn't it just the 3rd level? What's there to be happy about?
Why?
Are you happy now that you can immediately cultivate the 3rd layer of the cultivation technique? A person that Lin Ray didn't want to appear at this moment had appeared, and had even heard the words that he didn't want to hear. I say, Xiaolong, can't you just not come out and cause trouble for once? You can't always be like this. It's something to be happy about. In the end, you suddenly came out and poured a bucket of cold water on me. You're really hurting my mood. At this moment, Lin Ray felt very helpless. This was not the first time something like this had happened. Ever since he obtained the system, the little dragon had been pouring cold water on him. This lasted for more than 10 years. In these 10 years, Lin Ray had been suffering and did not dare to speak. That. Right now, Xiaolong, who was hovering in the air above Linley, was embarrassed upon hearing Linley's words. He stammered, unable to say anything. Forget it. It seems that you can't change this bad habit of yours. But I still want to say, can you do it just once? Just once. Don't be like this and make me happy. After finishing his words, Lin Ray did not continue to argue with the little dragon about this matter. Instead, he began to admire the treasures and elixirs that he had just obtained.
Damn, you don't say.
These 4 formation flags are really something. I was thinking that when I reached the cultivation world, I would find a weapon refiner to refine some for me. I didn't expect the system to send me such good things. It really can be said that my wishes come true. At this moment, Lin Ray's 4 formation flags were engraved with runes that he couldn't understand. However, he could feel the spiritual power seeping out from the 4 formation flags. For a moment, Lin Ray didn't want to send it over. It seemed that he wanted to carry it with him all the time. Look at you. Isn't it just a few flags? It's not like there won't be such things in the future. You care so much about this lousy stuff. It seems that I'll just give you some random lousy stuff in the future to satisfy you. When the little dragon in the sky saw Linley's reluctant expression, it couldn't help but reveal a disdainful look in its eyes as it spoke to Linley disdainfully. Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray was instantly unwilling. What did he mean by, just give me some random lousy stuff in the future?
What was he talking about?
Hey, little dragon. Are you asking for a beating? What do you mean by, just give me some lousy stuff? Let me tell you. Now is now, and the future is the future. If you dare to give me the lousy stuff you're talking about in the future, be careful that I'll fall out with you. After saying that, Lin Ray turned his head and continued to look at other things, especially when he saw the dazzling light sword. Although Lin Ray liked it very much, It was still far from the Emu 10,000 art sword. Moreover, Lin Rei could also feel that the hardness of the two materials was on a completely different level. Therefore, even if he had to give a dozen dazzling light swords, Lin Rei wouldn't exchange the Emu 10,000 art sword for the Emu 10,000 art sword. It just so happens that I promised to give him a sword. With the dazzling light sword, I believe that a middle-grade immortal weapon should be able to enter Er's eyes. When he saw the dazzling light sword, Lin Rei thought of the promise he made to his son when he killed Long Batian. Therefore, Lin Rei made up his mind that this middle-grade immortal weapon already belonged to his son, Jin En.
Of course.
If the experts in the immortal realm and the cultivation world heard Lin Rei's idea, they would be so angry that they would vomit blood. A middle-grade immortal weapon. Even in the immortal realm, this was a rare sight, let alone in the cultivation realm. But now, Linley was casually giving it away. Most likely, if they were to hear this, a bloodbath would break out. I believe will like it. After saying that, Lin Rei took the dazzling light swords. He had no intention of putting them back into the storage basket. Well, little dragon, I've been in seclusion here for 8 years. Since I'll be leaving soon, I can use this time to arrange things here. During this time, you can't be idle. Try to use your skills to find an excellent place to set up the 9 spirits transfer formation on planet Water Blue. Okay. When the little dragon heard Lin Rei's words, he nodded without hesitation. At the same time, he said to Lin Rei, with an excited smile on his face, "We're finally leaving this place. I've been living a peaceful life here for almost 10 years. My fighting spirit is almost worn out. If I don't experience a life and death battle, I'll be useless." Yes, that's right. Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei agreed, because what he said was what Lin Rei wanted to say. In the past 10 years, Lin Rei's martial Emperor Divine Spear had been silent for a long time. Even the 5 ancestors did not let it fight to the fullest extent. Soon we're leaving. When the time comes, we'll have to live a life where there's no tomorrow. But I'll miss those days. It was better to say that he missed them. After all, Lin Rei could no longer return to the boy who had no cultivation and dared not complain when bullied by others. After living in Tianxian, Lin Rei was no longer the same person he used to be. Well, I won't talk to you anymore. We haven't seen each other for 8 years. I don't know how Er's cultivation is now, and I don't know what she looks like. I don't know how Ling is doing either. At the thought of this, Lin Rei could not help but feel excited. In the past 8 years, Lin Rei also thought of his wife and child, but because of his closed-door training, Lin Rei could not go out to meet them. Well, you go. During this time, I'll help you explore the best place to set up the 9 spirits transfer array. After the two finished discussing, Lin Rei did not stay in the system for another moment. Every minute and second, Lin Rei could not wait to see his wife and child. With a thought, Lin Rei was still in the system space a moment ago, and the next moment, Lin Rei was already in the room where he had left. Looking at those familiar things that had once been there, but were still placed in the far corner of the room. Looking at this familiar place, this familiar room, Linley couldn't help but reveal a smile on his face, and his eyes began to moisten. Phew. I'm back. How have you been? After calming down, Lin Rei slowly opened the door and walked out. Before he left, Lin Rei felt the tears in his eyes. Lin Rei quickly wiped them away. He did not want his son to see him in such a sorry state. Out of the door, he came to the railing next to the stairs and looked down. At this moment, there was no one in the hall. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei was puzzled. He instinctively wanted to release his divine sense. At this moment, a familiar voice came into Lin Rei's ears. Stop cultivating. You say, why are you like your dead father? Once you start cultivating, there's no end to it. Look, 8 years have passed, and he has been in closed-door training until now. I really don't know what he is thinking. You see, when he comes out, he will be in trouble. Oh, mother. You can't blame father. He did this because he wanted to cultivate to a higher level to protect us. You can't blame father.
He did the right thing.
Moreover, I also want to learn from Father to improve my cultivation to the best and protect the people I want to protect. I don't want those people to hurt you and Father. Lin Rei, who had been standing on the second floor, was stunned when he heard the conversation between his son and his wife. Then, the tears in his eyes couldn't help but burst out uncontrollably. However, Lin Rei still had some lingering fear in his heart. After hearing his wife's words, Lin Rei's spine was still covered in cold sweat. Chapter 267. After a moment of silence, Linley sorted out his emotions. Then, he quietly walked down from the second floor. Without making a sound, he went directly behind Jean Ling, who was cooking in the kitchen. With one move, Linley hugged Jean Ling's willow waist from behind. When Jean Ling, who was cooking, felt something strange, her instinctive reaction was to stand up and kick Linley's crotch, directly kicking at Linley's penis. F***CK. F***CK. Fortunately, Linley's reaction was fast. After seeing his wife's intentions, he hurriedly dodged. Otherwise, right now, Linley would be lying on the ground, a eunuch. Hearing a familiar voice, Jean Ling turned around and saw her husband hugging her. She hadn't seen him for many years. Instantly, Jean Ling recalled what she had done to him and felt a lingering fear. Phew, I say, Ling, I know I haven't been out all these years, but you don't have to treat me like this. When he thought of his wife's face with spiritual energy, Linley couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. This. At this moment, when Jean Ling heard her husband's words, she was flustered and didn't know what to say. This was because Jean Ling knew that if that kick had hit, it was conceivable that Linley would have died here today. Okay. Looking at his wife's panicked look, Lin Rei's gloomy mood disappeared in a flash. In the blink of an eye, he smiled and comforted his wife. It's okay. If I were to be kicked by you, how am I going to survive in the future? I'm at the peak of the Mahayana stage. Lin Rei knew that Jean Ling would definitely feel guilty after what happened just now. That was why Lin Rei quickly changed the topic to the food. To be honest, it's really okay. But I've been in seclusion for 8 years. During these 8 years, I missed your cooking very much. Besides, it's time to eat. Don't think about anything now. Hurry up and cook. As he spoke, Linley came to Jean Ling's side and hugged her by the waist. He gently patted Jean Ling's back to make her relax. Okay, I got it. At this moment, Jean Ling was no longer as panicked as before. She quickly turned around and began to cook Chinese food. Lin Rei kept hugging Jean Ling from behind. After a long time, the food was ready. Lin Rei also let go under Jean Ling's threat. Hubby, go outside and call N for dinner. You don't know, Arin is now the school hunk in their class. There are a lot of little beauties around him. Seeing that her husband was reluctant to let go of her, Jean Ling covered her mouth and smiled. Then, she told her husband about Jean N's situation in the past few years. Oh, is that so? After hearing his son's information, Lin Rei was in disbelief. According to the age, his son was only 14 years old this year. Thinking back to when he was 14 years old, he was still in the Sentian mountain range, fighting for survival. He didn't expect his son to live so comfortably. That's right. You don't know, but now the girls in their class want to come to our house to do it. Jean raised his head and looked at his husband's disbelieving expression. For a moment, he quickly explained to him, Okay. However, I want to see who is stronger between him and me back then. With that, Lin Rei moved and walked out of the door. However, before he reached the door, he heard a burst of shouting. I didn't expect this kid to be so diligent. However, I want to see how much you've improved in the past few years. When he reached the door, Lin Rei didn't brazenly go forward to check. When Lin Rei saw his son practicing under the sun, Lin Rei didn't think much of it. He immediately suppressed his cultivation to the middle stage of the foundation establishment stage and rushed toward Jean N, who was practicing. Immediately, he used the stellar finger. After being restrained by Lin Rei, The stellar finger, which had been cultivated to the peak, was forcefully suppressed by Lin Rei to the proficient level. Humph, take this. Humph, how dare you break into the Lin family's villa? You really don't want your life. Jin En, who was in the middle of practicing, suddenly felt danger. He turned around and executed the same martial technique as Lin Li, the astral finger. Both of them were very fast. In an instant, the two of them were entangled in a fight. With a pung sound, the two of them both retreated a few steps back at the same time. The distance between them was pulled apart at this time. The Dark Tribe members who had been guarding the villa all this time came out when they sensed the fight. More than 100 people all appeared in the villa at this moment. Furthermore, the aura on each of their bodies was released at this moment. However, when they saw that the person fighting was Lin Rei, who had been in seclusion for 8 years, everyone was first stunned. Then, they all knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Lin Rei. Greetings to the sect leader. We didn't know that the sect leader was sparring with the young sect leader, so we came to disturb you. Please punish us, sect leader. A voice that shook the clouds was heard. Lin Rei, who hadn't heard this voice for 8 years, laughed at this moment. Lin Rei laughed very happily. Haha.
Good.
You've all done well. You've worked hard these past few years. Hurry up and get up. Looking at them, Lin Rei's eyes revealed a look of confusion. Then, he hurriedly asked the Dark Tribe members who were kneeling on the ground to stand up. All these years, you've all done a great job guarding the villa. However, rewarding you at this time doesn't suit the situation. After a few days, when everything is done, I'll bring you to a higher plane to cultivate. When we reach the higher plane and settle down, I'll make up for today's reward. What do you think? Thank you, sect leader. We're willing. At this moment, all the Dark Tribe members had excited smiles on their faces. It wasn't because of the reward that Lin Rei mentioned. It was because they heard Lin Rei say that they would be able to leave this place in a few days. Father, is it really you? Just when everyone was excited about leaving, a tender and excited voice came from the crowd. Not long after, Jinan's figure appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes. Yes, not bad. I'm back. My son, your father is back. Perhaps because of his excitement, Lin Rei didn't care about the eyes of the Dark Tribe members around him. Instead, he rushed directly to Jin En and picked him up. Then he kissed him on the face. Oh, father, why are you like this? At this moment, Jin En, who was in Lin Rei's arms, felt his father's saliva on his face. He reluctantly tried to break away from Lin Rei's arms. However, would Lin Rei let him go far? What's wrong?
How old are you?
You're starting to dislike your father?
Ah.
Hearing this, Jin En gave up resisting. He began to allow his father to ravage him. Not long later, Lin Li had finally had enough of the intimacy, and so he released Jin En. Not bad. I haven't seen you for 8 years. My son broke through from the Qi refining stage to the late stage of the foundation establishment stage with your own efforts. Not bad. You really didn't let me down. When he was sparring with his son, Lin Rei could feel his son's strength and cultivation. Lin Rei was happy because of this. When he was 14 years old, he was just an ant who hadn't even reached the Qi refining stage. Oh right, you guys can leave now. Rest well for the next few years. I'll take you guys out of here in a few days. Looking at the 100 Dark Tribe members around him, Lin Rei hurriedly dispersed them. After all, they were still on planet Aqua Blue. Yes, we'll obey the sect leader's orders. Hearing Lin Rei's order, the 100 Dark Tribe members responded to Lin Rei and dispersed. At this moment, the courtyard of the Lin family's villa was restored to its usual calm. Come, let's go in. Your mother has already prepared the meal. If we don't go in, your mother will flip out. Seeing that everyone had dispersed, Lin Rei hurriedly pulled Jin En and walked into the villa. Why did you two just come in? As soon as they arrived at the living room, they saw Jin Ling walking out of the kitchen with a plate of food. When she saw Lin Rei and his son, Jin Ling couldn't help but ask. Oh, my father was testing my strength just now, so we were late. Jin En's words had bought Lin Li's trust. Linley hadn't expected that this son of his would be so frank and honest, telling him everything.
What?
Hearing Jin's words, Jinling's face, which had been full of smiles, instantly tensed up. Linley saw the unhappy look on her face.
Sigh.
It's over. After seeing his wife's expression, Lin Rei muttered in his heart and quickly changed the topic. Come, let's hurry up and eat. For the past 8 years, I've been thinking about your cooking skills all the time. As he spoke, Linley sat down. Then, he took out a jar of flowery carving wine from his storage ring and picked up his chopsticks. Come, and, you're already 14 years old. How can you not drink at this age? Looking at his son beside him, Lin Rei didn't say anything. He directly picked up the wine jar and poured a bowl of wine into the empty bowl beside him. What? You're crazy. How old is your son? You're letting him drink? No, absolutely not. When Jinling heard her husband's words, she immediately exploded and hurried forward to stop him. However, it was still too late. She saw Jin and pick up the bowl of wine on the table and gulp it down. How can you drink? Jin En, who had already approached but couldn't stop him, widened his eyes in disbelief. He didn't expect his son to drink. Chapter 268. Oh, okay, it's okay. I also started drinking around this time. It's nothing. Looking at his wife's nervous look, Linley hurriedly told her about his deeds in the past. However, it sounded like an old story to Di Jinling. Humph. I don't care what you did back then. In short, this is my son. I don't want him to drink so early. If you let my son drink again, then don't enter my room in the future. Hearing Jinling's words, Lin Rei wanted to give in. However, because his son was beside him, Lin Rei could only bite the bullet and respond for the sake of his face. Why not? If he's your son, then I'm your husband. In short, this matter is non-negotiable. As he spoke, Lin Rei's waist was obviously raised. However, the more he spoke, the more guilty Lin Rei felt. When Jin En saw this scene, he shook his head helplessly and began to eat. This kind of situation was common for Jin En. However, until the end, Lin Rei was the one who gave in first, so Jin En didn't have to go forward to stop him at all. Time passed, little by little. While they were arguing, Jin En had already eaten his fill. Then, he quietly went to the room. As for Jinling and Lin Rei, during the process of arguing, Lin Rei's voice became softer and softer. On the contrary, Jinling's voice became louder and louder. In the end, Lin Rei didn't speak anymore, but Jin En was pointing at Lin Rei and scolding him. I'm telling you, this is the last time. If there's a next time, be careful. Don't talk about 100 years. Even if it's 1,000 years, don't enter my room. This is not a warning. This is the last ultimatum. Okay. Whatever Ling says. I won't let En drink anymore. Okay. Lin Rei, who gave in, promised Jinling softly. Then he turned his head to look for Jin En. However, at this time, there was no sign of Jin En. Where's my son? Look at you. Your son has already finished eating and left. After seeing Lin Rei's surprised gaze, Jinling told him where Jin En went and rolled her eyes at Lin Rei. Haha, so that's how it is. After learning of Jin En's whereabouts, Lin Rei could only hide his awkward gaze with a smile. Oh, by the way, a few days ago, Mother came looking for you. She seemed to be in a hurry, but you were in seclusion at that time, so... Suddenly, Jinling thought of the situation when Ouyang Jing came here and told Lin Rei about it. Oh, Mother came to see me? After hearing what his wife said, Lin Rei was puzzled. It was impossible for his mother to be here to see him. After all, Lin Feng and Lin Ro had been cultivating here every day. His mother should know best whether he had come out or not. After thinking about it for a while, he gave up. Okay, I got it. After I finish eating, I'll go look for Mother and see what's the matter. Okay, then you must remember. Don't forget it when the time comes. However, there's one more thing that seems to be related to Mother.
What?
Lin Rei was puzzled. What was it? Why was it related to his mother? It's just these few days. Little brother and sister haven't come for a long time, and there's no news from you. I'm afraid this matter has something to do with Mother a few days ago. Sister-in-law, 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 has my big brother come out of seclusion? As the saying goes, speak of the devil and he will appear. Just as they were talking, Lin Feng's voice came from outside and directly interrupted Jin Ling's words. Oh, he's here. After hearing his younger brother's voice, Lin Rei's face revealed a joyful smile. He was very excited, and his body involuntarily stood up. After a while, Lin Feng and Lin Ro hurried in from outside. When they saw their big brother standing up with a smile on his face, Lin Feng and Lin Ro were delighted. Big brother, you're finally out of seclusion. Do you know? We've missed you so much these few years. The two rushed to Lin Rei, and then the three of them excitedly hugged each other. Their eyes were wet because of this. Hee, that's enough.
How old are you?
Why are you still so emotional? You've ruined my good mood. Looking at his younger brother and sister, Lin Rei couldn't help but tease them. However, when Lin Rei let go of his younger brother and sister and saw their flustered faces, Lin Rei knew that something big must have happened to his roommates. What's the matter? Is there something wrong with Mother? Tell me, is it Mother? At this moment, Lin Rei roared excitedly. For Lin Rei, his mother's life was more important than his own. In Lin Rei's heart, Ouyang Jing was his weakness. If something happened to his mother, Lin Rei would kill everyone related to this matter, leaving no one alive. No, it's... Phew, you scared me to death. After hearing that it was not his mother who was in trouble, Lin Rei was obviously relieved and relieved. However, when he saw them crying, he really felt sorry for them. What's the matter? Since it's not Mother, what's the matter? Why are you so embarrassed to talk about it? Lin Rei didn't understand why they were here. He heard from Jin Ling that his mother had been here before. At this time, his younger brother and sister came again. He didn't understand what could make them so anxious. Jin Ling, who had been listening to the situation, was also very curious. When her mother came, she was very curious, but she didn't go forward to ask. Now it was different. They just happened to be talking about this, so she wasn't eavesdropping. Big brother, I told you, don't blame me. This is Mother's idea. We can't do anything about it. Damn, you're looking for a beating. Why are you talking so much nonsense? If you have something to say it quickly. You're dawdling like a woman. Seeing his younger brother being so wishy-washy, Lin Rei couldn't bear it anymore and directly swore at Lin Feng. It's Father. Father was captured by the Japanese of country a few days ago. The Long family sent a lot of people, and in the end, some of them didn't even come back. In the end, Mother had no choice but to come to you. But at that time, you were in seclusion, so Mother could only go home and ask us to pay attention to your situation. So that was it. At this moment, Lin Rei finally knew why they were so hesitant and unwilling to say anything. However, in the current situation, Lin Rei also found it difficult to make a choice. For Long Zhong, Lin Rei didn't have a good impression of him at all. He didn't even want to see him. I can't care about this matter. If Mother is captured, I'm willing to destroy the entire country, Long Zhong. I'm not familiar with him, and I don't even want to see this person. So, you'd better go back. It wasn't that Lin Rei was cruel and didn't want to save him. It was just that Lin Rei felt that Long Zhong wasn't worth saving, so in the end, Lin Rei chose not to save him. Alas, I knew it. Big brother, this is your decision. It doesn't matter. In that case, the two of us will leave first and go back to give Mother an answer. After hearing Lin Rei's answer, Lin Feng and Lin Ro didn't show much expression, as if they had already known this result. After speaking, Lin Feng and Lin Ro were ready to go outside. However, just as they were about to leave, they were stopped by Lin Rei. Hey, I say the two of you are really good. You just came and didn't say anything to your big brother.
You just left like that.
You really hurt your big brother's heart. Lin Ray's words made Jean Ling burst out laughing. She didn't expect her husband to say such a thing in this situation. Big brother, forget it. Let's go home first and tell mother about this. There's still a long time in the future. In the future, we will have plenty of time to get together. Why should we wait for a while? After speaking, the two of them didn't stay any longer. They turned around and left the villa, walking towards the Long family's villa. Alas! Look, maybe mother will be back soon. Now at the entrance of the villa, looking in the direction his younger brother and sister left, Lin Ray finally sighed and said helplessly. After that, he brought Jean Ling back to the villa's hall. Then, hubby, are you going to save that person or not? No matter what, that person is still you. Enough, I don't want to hear it. That person has nothing to do with me. Don't talk about it anymore. Without waiting for Jean Ling to finish her words, Lin Ray directly surged with anger and shouted at Jean Ling. At this time, Lin Ray felt that after losing his composure just now, he quickly apologized to Jean Ling with an embarrassed expression. I'm sorry, Ling. It was my fault just now. I shouldn't have shouted at you. Originally, the angry roar just now gave Jean Ling a fright because this was the first time in more than 10 years that such a situation had happened. However, after hearing Lin Ray's apology, Jean Ling smiled in relief. It's okay. I know that this matter is very difficult for you, but you have to face it sooner or later. Besides, didn't you say that mother might come in a while? What are you going to say at that time? Looking at her husband's current situation, Jean Ling also wanted to share his burden. However, she knew that this matter could only be passed by Lin Ray himself. No one else could help him. The only thing she could do was to accompany Lin Ray by his side.
Sigh.
That's true. This matter is inevitable sooner or later. Go and prepare some snacks and tea. See, in a while, when mother finds out that I've come out of seclusion, she'll immediately come. Lin Ray knew that Jean Ling was worried about him. However, he didn't want his wife, Jean Ling, to worry about this matter, so he found an excuse to send her away.
Oh, all right.
Then I'll go. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Jean Ling quickly stood up and walked towards the kitchen. At this moment, Lin Ray was the only one in the hall. In the quiet hall, Lin Ray sat silently on the sofa, thinking about whether to save his so-called father or not. Lin Ray was very conflicted about this. If he wanted to save him, after all, Long Zhong, was his father. However, if he didn't want to save him, Lin Ray had enough reasons. After all, Long Zhong didn't raise him for a single day. However, it was this kind of matter that Lin Ray was conflicted. He didn't know how to deal with it. At this moment, there was a celestial immortal cultivator in front of him. Lin Ray was willing to fight with a celestial immortal, but he didn't want to save Long Zhong. However, he had no choice. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. At this moment, Lin Ray still hadn't figured out how to solve the problem.
Sigh.
With a sigh, Lin Ray really didn't know how to deal with this matter. In the end, Lin Ray gave up thinking. He closed his eyes and relaxed his expression, no longer thinking about those things. Squeak. The sound of a high-speed brake entered the ears of Lin Ray, who had just closed his eyes and wanted to relax his nerves. Sigh, mother, you're really here? Opening his eyes, Lin Ray looked helplessly at the door. He didn't know how to tell his mother about his decision, because he was afraid that he would hurt her heart. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of high heels on the floor came closer and closer. Finally, Ouyang Jing's figure appeared in front of Lin Ray's eyes. Can't you save your father? After all, he's still your father. When Ouyang Jing saw her son at the door, she hurriedly begged. She didn't even greet Lin Ray. Then, Lin Feng and Lin Ro followed her in.
Sigh.
Mother, you're making it difficult for me. You know, that person, and I don't. No, Ray, just take it that I'm begging you. Just take it that I'm begging you. Please save him. I know that your father's decision back then may have hurt you, but it's because of his decision that we've lived so peacefully for so many years." Lin Rei, who had just opened his mouth to speak, was stopped by Ouyang Jing before he could finish. She knew what her son was going to say next. "Mother, I don't want to say anything else. Many people here know about him, so I don't want to say anything. But you want me to help someone I'm not familiar with, and this person has a grudge against me before. Just based on this point, I can't accept it." At this moment, after hearing her son's resolute words, Ouyang Jing's face showed a painful expression. She knew that her son was determined to help Long Zhong, who had just awakened. However, if Lin Rei didn't help him, then Long Zhong would definitely die.
Plop.
Lin Rei didn't rest. Ouyang Jing directly knelt on the ground and pleaded with Lin Rei, with tears streaming down her face. "Son, I know that this request is very difficult for you, but for me, can you save your father? Even if it's for little Feng and little Ro, I'll do it. Do you want them to lose their father again? What are you doing? Hurry up and get up. What are you doing?" When he saw his mother kneeling on the ground, Lin Rei quickly rushed forward and wanted to help Ouyang Jing up, but she refused. "No, Rei, if you don't promise me today, then don't bother about me." Chapter 269. Looking at Ouyang Jing's current appearance, Lin Rei knew that if he didn't agree today, his mother would probably kneel here for a long time. But how could he do that? It would be unfilial behavior. For Lin Rei, such a thing would never happen. Alas. "Well, mother, stand up. I promise you, but I can't guarantee that he's still alive, but I can guarantee that if he's still alive, I'll definitely help you get him out." Linley, who hadn't planned on going, had no choice but to give in under his mother's coercion. After all, this was the only option left.
"Ah,
That's great. That's great." Ouyang Jing, who was kneeling on the ground, quickly stood up when she heard Lin Rei agree to her request. She excitedly grabbed Lin Rei and shook him. "Heh? Hee, don't be too happy yet. It's not certain whether this matter will succeed or not. So, let's talk about it after I bring him back." With that, Lin Rei stood up. At this moment, Lin Rei was very tired. He didn't know why, but Lin Rei felt that his body was tired for no reason. "All right, all of you stay here. When I come back, I will send him back to the Long family. During this period of time, you all can wait here." With that, Lin Rei was ready to go outside. But when he left, he thought that it was too much to leave without saying a few words to his wife and son. So Lin Rei, who was about to leave, turned back and went to the kitchen. After seeing his wife's busy figure, Lin Rei couldn't help but walk forward and hug her from behind. I'm going to save that person. When I'm not here, you should tidy up at home and do what you need to do quickly. When I come back, we'll prepare to leave. Also, don't tell anyone about this news, except for my 3 brothers. Find some time to inform them and let them come. When I come back, I'll bring them along." "Well, I got it. Don't worry. During this time, I'll take care of things at home, but really don't tell mother, brother, and sister. Isn't this a little?" At this moment, Jean Ling didn't tease Lin Rei like before. Instead, she answered softly, "No need. They should live here. As for our kind of life, it's not suitable for them. So, it's better not to tell them. If you say too much, it's just reluctance and parting." "Well, I got it. Don't worry." After the 2 of them finished talking, Lin Rei brought Jean Ling's body over. He went outside, SSS's body, stopped, raised his head and shouted, Come out for a moment. I have something to give you. Hurry up." Kachum, a sound came from upstairs. After a while, Jean's figure appeared in Lin Rei's pupils. "What's the matter, father? Why are you looking for me?" As he spoke, Jean slowly walked down and came to Lin Rei's side. He couldn't help but ask curiously, "Did you forget that when we were in the Long family's villa, father promised to give you something good? It just so happens that father is going to leave for a period of time. Take advantage of this period of time. You can cultivate well at home." "Ah, really? Then hurry up and give it to me. At this moment, when Jin En heard that his father was going to fulfill his promise at that time, he excitedly asked Lin Rei for it. Okay, I'll give it to you right away. Looking at his son's happy expression, Lin Rei also smiled. As he spoke, Lin Rei used his mind and took out the dazzling light sword from his storage ring. Suddenly, the moment the dazzling light sword appeared, a sword aura rose and circled around the dazzling light sword, lingering without dissipating. Jin En, who saw the scene, instantly fell in love with it. Here, this is the dazzling light sword. During this period of time, refine it at home. As for the sword manual, when I come back, I'll slowly hand it to you. Remember, refine it only. Don't be impatient. Take it slow, understand? Looking at Jin En, Linley couldn't bear to part with him. He had just returned, and now he had to leave. For someone like Linley, who had never been by his son's side as he grew up, this sort of time spent with his son was very precious. Oh, I understand. Father, don't worry. I'll refine it during this period of time. I'm still counting on it to protect you and your mother. Okay, in that case I'll leave first. During this period of time, protect your mother well. No matter who bullies your mother, you must kill them at all costs. No matter how much power they have, on your mother's mountain, nothing is good. Finally, after giving a few more instructions to Jin En, Lin Rei went to the door and muttered a few words. After forming a few seals with his hands, Lin Rei's figure disappeared from the spot. At this moment, Lin Rei had already left. Perhaps he was tens of thousands of meters away, or perhaps he had already left Jingmei. This was something that no one knew. If Lin Rei had a little bit of thought before, he would have noticed that when Lin Rei took out the dazzling light sword and gave it to Jin En, Lin Feng and Lin Ro's eyes were filled with jealousy. Obviously, Lin Feng and Lin Ro were very unconvinced that their big brother only gave it to their son and not them. Lin Rei did not notice this and did not know. But even if he knew, so what? Lin Rei would not change his previous decision. Lin Rei left. Ouyang Jing, Lin Feng, and Lin Ro listened to Lin Rei's decision and stayed in the Lin family villa. Jin Ling served them with delicious food and drinks. As for Jin En, he followed Lin Rei's instructions and began to refine the dazzling light sword in seclusion. Well, mother, you must be tired. I've already prepared the guest room for you. Go and rest first. I'll call you down for breakfast in the evening. After Lin Rei left, Jin Ling walked out and said to her mother, Lin Feng, and Lin Ro, who were sitting on the sofa, Okay, let's get busy. We'll go up first. At this moment, Ouyang Jing, who was at a loss, heard his son's words and quickly agreed. He stood up and walked upstairs. At this moment, the hall was quiet again. Jin Ling sat on the sofa with nothing to do, turned on the TV, and drank leisurely afternoon tea. Time passed by little. It had been a day since Lin Rei left. During this day, Ouyang Jing did not have a trace of sleep at all. He was very worried about his kidnapped husband. Therefore, during this period of time, it might be destined to be a sleepless day. Lin Rei, who had left for a long time, had already arrived at the sky above Tokyo. However, at this moment, Lin Rei was indeed observing the country below with a reluctant face. Chapter 270. TSK, according to my mother's information, that person is now in Bonskin. Although country is not big, how can I know where Bonswin is? Now in the air, Lin Rei, who was surveying the beautiful scenery of Tokyo, was angry at this moment. Lin Rei didn't know anything about the distribution of this place, let alone being able to accurately find the place where that person was imprisoned. Alas, forget it. Let's look for it first. After thinking about it, there was no way. He could only go with the flow and slowly look for it. With that, Lin Rei found a deserted alley and flew down. After tidying up his clothes that were a little messy after flying for a day, Lin Rei went out of the alley again. To be honest, Lin Rei was really not used to the magical scenery of country especially the houses here, which made Lin Rei even more unacceptable. As the current head of a Long family, Lin Rei felt that with such a status, he must be imprisoned in an extremely luxurious place. Therefore, Lin Rei went directly to Mount Fuji. However, Lin Rei was wrong. Just when Lin Rei came to Mount Fuji, he used his divine sense to explore the entire Mount Fuji. Whether it was in the air or underground, he found out everything. However, Lin Rei was wrong. At this moment, Lin Rei really didn't know what to do. He didn't understand why the people of country would capture Longzhong. Lin Rei couldn't understand this. Alas, forget it. I'd better ask. If I continue to look like this, the longer it takes, the more dangerous that person will be. Finally, Lin Rei had no choice but to find a passerby and ask where Bonskin was. That person answered Lin Rei's question. However, what surprised Lin Rei was that Bonskin was a village and a very remote place. This made Lin Rei very puzzled. It was reasonable to say that someone like Longzhong should be imprisoned in a very advanced place. Alas, it seems that the TV series are all lies. At this moment, Lin Rei deeply regretted using what he had seen in the TV series. After being annoyed for a while, Lin Rei walked towards the place mentioned by the passerby. It was neither near nor far. Lin Rei walked for half a day. Finally, the outline of Bonsuan appeared in his sight. This is an ordinary village that can't talk about you anymore. It was so ordinary that the three of them ignored it. This place was different from other villages. Other villages were filled with trees and green grass. However, this place was completely barren. There was even an aura of death in the air. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei became vigilant. For this place to become a dead mountain in this season, just based on this point alone, it did not make sense. Moreover, Lin Rei could faintly sense a trace of a smile. Hee, it seems that this place is not simple. Looking here, Lin Rei quickly hid his figure. In order not to let others discover his existence, Lin Rei even stopped breathing and all the functions of his body. Even his heart, Lin Rei tried to make it beat slowly. Everything had been prepared, and Linley began to stroll towards the village. The more he walked, the more Linley felt that this place wasn't simple at all. There wasn't a single person here. It could be said that this was a village of clansmen. However, based on what that person had said earlier, this place didn't seem to be like this at all. Lin Rei did not talk nonsense. He directly released his divine sense. Within a few kilometers, everything appeared in Lin Rei's mind. Well, there are no birds or beasts. There are not even any green trees. It seems that there are some unspeakable secrets here. After exploring for a long time, Lin Rei did not find anything. Just when Lin Rei was about to give up, suddenly in a room, there was a passage that led all the way to the underground. Upon discovering this, Linley hurriedly revealed a disdainful smile. Without wasting any words, he strode into the room, pulled open the tunnel, and leapt into the room. The moment Lin Rei's body entered the passage, he chased downward. It was not until 100 meters later that Lin Rei's feet stepped on the ground again. Oh, but it's quite deep. After landing, Lin Rei looked up at the weak and pitiful light above his head. After that, Lin Rei could not help but say, and walked inside. Here, it was extremely dark. He could not even see his own fingers. However, for Lin Rei, who was at the peak of the Mahayana stage, this was not a problem. As long as one's cultivation reached a certain level, one would be able to see clearly in the darkness. However, at Lin Rei's level, a place with a radius of 1 mile was not a problem for Lin Rei. As he walked deeper and deeper, Lin Rei did not know how long it would take. In order to prevent others from discovering him, Lin Rei could not use his divine sense to explore. It was reasonable to say that there should be no powerhouse stronger than him here, but just in case, Lin Rei had to be careful. An hour later, Linley finally saw light. Regarding this, Linley didn't know what to do. Lin Rei was very happy, because this meant that he was about to find Longzhong. As long as he found Longzhong, he could go back. However, everything did not go as planned. Just after Lin Rei came to the light, the voices of the two people appeared in Lin Rei's ears. What was even rarer was that the two people were both Chinese and spoke the same language as him. No, big brother. You have to leave quickly. This place must be destroyed. We are not only here to save Elder Longzhong this time. The more important thing is to blow up the Japanese's biochemical laboratory. If they really develop biochemical humans, it will start an international war. The world has just been peaceful for a while. We can't let them destroy it. Yes, that's right. However, Shower, you're wrong. This time, it's you who should leave. Last time, you've already lost something for me. If I let you go again, then I, Long Tian, am not a human anymore. Alright, this matter is settled. After you bring Elder Longzhong out, quickly leave this place. As for this laboratory, I'll go into hibernation twice and make their plans disappear completely. At this moment, the two people seemed to be prepared to die. However, in Lin Rei's view, this was undoubtedly an act of seeking death. Until Lin Rei heard from the beginning to the end. Finally, he knew that this place was the Japanese's Biochemical Research Institute. In order to start an international war again, Lin Rei would never agree to this. He knew that Lin Rei hated the Japanese the most in his life. For such an operation, Lin Rei was very willing to help. Just as the two people were about to act, Lin Rei didn't want the two of them to die in vain, so he walked out and said to the two, I advise the two of you to think about your own weight. You don't have the ability, yet you still want to be brave. However, I admire your courage very much. So, you don't need to worry about this matter. The most important thing for you now is to quickly get Longzhong out of here and return to China safely. As for this place, uncle, leave it to me. I will make it disappear completely. Not even a trace of it will be left. Who is it?
Who is talking?
The sudden voice frightened the two people. After they heard the voice, they looked around, trying to find the person who spoke. However, to their disappointment, they didn't know where the person who spoke was. Okay, you don't have to look for me. I'm here to save Longzhong. However, now that I've encountered such a situation and met the two of you, I don't want to see Longzhong in the first place.
Just as well.
Help me bring Longzhong back, and I'll help you blow up this laboratory. Looking at the two people's silent appearance, Lin Rei wasn't in a hurry. After all, he had a lot of time. However, just as Lin Rei was about to wait, the two people responded. Okay, we'll do as you say. How should I address you, senior? We can tell Elder Longzhong. There's no need. You just need to bring him back to China safely. As for the rest, leave it to me. Hearing the two's words, Linley didn't reveal his own name. Instead, he froze the two of them, then let out a roar. Linley then walked into the depths of the forest by himself, leaving behind only the two of them, who were still in a daze. Chapter 271. F***CK. What the F***CK is going on? At this moment, the two of them finally regained their senses after Lin Rei left. They looked at each other and still didn't know what was going on. They didn't know who this mysterious person who suddenly appeared was. F***CK, alright, don't think about it. Since someone helped us destroy this laboratory, let's not waste any more time here. According to the senior's words, we should quickly rescue Elder Longzhong and send him back to the country safely. As for the rest, it will depend on the senior's ability. Alright. The two of them nodded. They quickly walked towards the place where Longzhong was locked up. At this moment, they only wanted to quickly rescue Longzhong and send him back safely. As for the destruction of the laboratory, they didn't know why, but in their hearts, they believed the words of the mysterious person without a doubt. At this moment, Lin Rei was walking towards the depths of the laboratory alone. As for whether the two of them listened to him, Lin Rei didn't know. However, Lin Rei was sure that they would definitely follow his orders. Therefore, Lin Rei wasn't very worried about this. At this moment, the only thing Lin Rei wanted to do was to destroy this extremely dangerous laboratory in front of him as soon as possible. If he had known earlier, the biohumans were like gods to ordinary people. If the people of country are really developed them, the consequences would be unimaginable. In the past, before the biohumans existed, the people of country were already so crazy, let alone now that they had such a secret weapon. The more he thought about it, the more scared Lin Rei became. He couldn't help but quicken his pace. Lin Rei wasn't afraid of these biohumans, but to the 400 million ordinary people in China, they were simply an existence that could destroy the world. Lin Rei couldn't say that he was a good person. He had killed many people, but he, Lin Rei, wouldn't kill people indiscriminately, nor would he commit crimes. Therefore, Lin Rei didn't want this kind of thing to happen. He was even more unwilling to let others kneel down in front of his home.
Ah, what?
Suddenly, cries that didn't belong to humans or monsters pierced through Lin Rei's path. Furthermore, the deeper he went, the more intense the cries became. This group of bastards. After being silent for so many years, they're still so ambitious and want to fight back. I want to see how strong this biohuman is. Lin Rei was already in a bad mood when he heard the strange noise. Now, his mood was completely ruined by them. Using this invisibility technique, Lin Rei sped up his footwork. Like a gust of wind, he instantly disappeared from his original location. When he reappeared, Lin Rei had already arrived in front of a large door. Yo, I didn't expect this place to be made of titanium alloy. Do you think you can stop me like this? As Lin Rei looked at the titanium alloy door, his face inadvertently curled up into a disdainful expression. Phew. Lin Rei stood back and took a deep breath. Then, he placed one hand on the titanium alloy door. In an instant, the second level of the Chaos Sutra was activated. A huge amount of spiritual energy drilled out of his dantian and flowed through his meridians. Finally, it passed from his arm to his palm. Break. With a bang, Lin Rei exerted a little force in his palm, and the titanium alloy door was completely shattered. In the end, not even a piece of it was left.
Why?
Ask you for a hint? Bastard, hurry up and see what's the hint. At this moment, the Japanese people behind the door came back to their senses after hearing the loud noise. They conveyed the message in fluent language that Lin Rei couldn't understand. I thought it was something amazing. I didn't expect it to be so fragile. TSK, what a bummer. If the Japanese people heard this, they would definitely curse Lin Rei. If they had known, Lin Rei was a strong man at the peak of the Mahayana realm. He could block the power of a missile with one hand even without using spiritual energy, not to mention the titanium alloy door. Suddenly, the moment the incident happened, the Japanese people took action. A group of ninjas dressed in black with katanas on their backs rushed to the scene as soon as the incident happened. Bastard, what's going on? Where's the door? Where did it go? At this moment, the leader of the ninjas saw that the door of the laboratory had disappeared into thin air, leaving no trace behind. After a loud noise, he was dumbfounded. Reporting to the chief, this door seems to be gone, and at the same time as the loud noise, I also felt an aura of energy. This kind of energy is very similar to the energy of the cultivators in the East. At this time, the ninja who had been standing at the back walked out timidly and said to his leader timidly,
What?
The cultivators from the East? At this moment, after hearing his subordinate's report, a trace of fear appeared in the ninja leader's eyes, but it was only a flash, and then it was perfectly hidden by him. Quick, everyone hurry up and find it for me. If the laboratory is destroyed, then we don't have to go back. We will just bury the laboratory with us. Suddenly, the ninja leader seemed to have thought of something terrible. His eyes were wide open, and his eyes were full of fear as he turned around and said to his subordinates, Yes, we will follow your orders. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The moment the ninja leader gave the order, all the ninjas responded and dispersed, leaving only the ninja leader with a heavy face. Sigh, I hope this time it's a small character. If this place is destroyed, then we will really have to commit suicide. At this moment, the ninja leader was full of helplessness as he stood in place. After muttering to himself, he walked into the depths of the laboratory. If the ninja leader knew that the Eastern self-cultivator they were looking for was right in front of them and had heard everything they said, he would definitely be so angry that he would directly find a piece of tofu and kill himself. After listening to their conversation, Lin Ray understood that leaving the laboratory was definitely more important than their lives to them. Moreover, the most interesting thing was that Lin Ray discovered that the strength of this group of ninjas was at the middle stage of the nascent soul stage. The ninja leader's strength was the strongest at the peak of the late stage of the nascent soul stage. However, what made Lin Ray strange was that they didn't use spiritual power, but an unknown power. Moreover, ordinary cultivators use their dantian to store energy, but Lin Ray discovered that these ninjas didn't. Regarding this point, Lin Ray was very strange and also very curious. Let me see what kind of thing your biohuman is, to make you guys value it so much. It's just a laboratory, but you can send so many nascent soul stage cultivators to help again. With that, Lin Ray chased after the ninja leader. Lin Ray believed that the ninja leader must have lost the center of the laboratory to check if there were any cultivators who had sneaked in. Lin Ray followed the ninja leader all the way, not daring to stop. Finally, after walking for about 10 or 20 minutes, the ninja leader finally stopped in front of a door. He reached into his pocket and took out a card. He swiped it on the instrument next to him, and the door opened with a click. Whoosh! The moment the door opened, Lin Ray directly used Dragon's subduing step and instantly entered the door. Just as Lin Ray entered and walked past the ninja leader, he seemed to have sensed something and looked around. However, after a while, he didn't find anything. In the end, the ninja leader gave up and entered the door. On the other side, Long Tian and his brothers followed Lin Ray's orders and safely arrived at the place where Long Zhong was imprisoned. Long Tian didn't know if it was because the Japanese were arrogant or because they were too arrogant. When Long Tian arrived at the place, he realized that there wasn't even a single ninja guarding Long Zhong. Hee, the heavens are really helping me. This is great. I originally thought that there would be a big battle here, but I didn't expect that there would be no one here. Long Tian didn't waste any time and quickly arrived at the door where Long Zhong was imprisoned. He directly circulated his spiritual energy and his fist, which had already finished accumulating spiritual energy, directly smashed towards the door. Bang! Under Long Tian's spiritual power fist, the door was directly smashed into smithereens. At this moment, Long Zhong, who was on a pillar in the north, heard a strange sound and woke up. When he raised his head and saw Long Tian at the door, Long Zhong smiled.
Ah?
What's going on? At this moment, Long Tian, who had broken the door, raised his head and met Long Zhong's eyes. At the same time, he also noticed Long Xing's current appearance. It was simply too horrible to look at. At this moment, there was not a single part of Long Zhong's body that was in good condition. His entire body was covered in blood, and his aura was weak. There was not even the slightest bit of aura of a cultivator on his body. Even his clothes were not as good as that of a beggar who had been begging all year round. Well, what's going on, Long? Elder Long Zhong, your cultivation. The moment Long Tian saw Long Zhong, he felt that the current Long Zhong was an ordinary person who couldn't be more ordinary. Because of his injuries, he might even be worse than an ordinary person. Sigh, don't say any more. In short, thank you for coming here to save me. I, Long Zhong, will never forget this favor. Long Zhong knew Long Tian. They had interacted before, so the moment he saw Long Tian again, Long Zhong knew that these two people had come to save him. Hee, I'm ashamed to say that the one who saved you was someone else. However, because of other matters, that senior left first. He asked us to come and save you, and asked us to safely send you back to the country. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.